Our next senior is Trevor Wiley. Escorted by his parents, Dustin and Jody Wiley, during his time at Firelands, Trevor participated in
This is the WEOL Gridiron Clash, streaming live on WEOL.com and on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel. Tonight, the Firelands Falcons take on the Columbia Raiders. It's brought to you by Nick Abraham Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street. Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company. Cobos Insurance Center, your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent. Lorain County Community College, real education for good jobs. And by Stewart's TV and Appliance, 468 Cleveland Street in Elyria.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. We've helped thousands of people just like you match skills and experience with a career. We can help you train for a career that is in demand right now. You can even work in your field while taking classes. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of Eco Tree Services. In a few hours, Eco Tree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at Eco Tree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact Eco Tree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
And good evening and welcome to Firelands High School. Rob Polinsky alongside Tom Evans, Dave Rydell doing the camera work, and Jared Kozar producing for us on the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Game of the week. It's a battle for the LC8 with the Columbia Raiders at 8-1 overall. They are 5-1 in league play atop the LC8, taking on the Firelands Falcons, who, even though they're 4-5 overall, more importantly, they're 4-2 in the LC8 and a game behind. Once again, Rob Polinsky alongside the coach, Tom Evans. And Tom, anytime you play in Week 10, when you're playing a team looking for an outright championship, another school trying to get a piece of it, if other things go their way, it's always exciting in Week 10.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing more than a coach wants than to have to play for meaningful games in Week 10 of the year, and this one has a lot on the line for both teams.
You know, and when you're playing meaningful football in Week 10, I would think it also helps just the preparation, right? The kids are excited. It's not difficult to keep them through a long season when you've got everything on the line.
No, they were focused this week. I guarantee you both groups of kids were focused this week. Here at Firelands, a lot of senior night festivities, so they try to celebrate that. I'm sure they did over at Columbia, did some senior tackle, some of those things that they do at the end of the year, but really helps to keep the kids focused when you're playing for a conference championship in Week 10.
But, Tom, one thing that I think is unique about this we're seeing two teams that, like I said, they're playing for everything tonight, and yet they're both coming off losses. I don't quite know what to make of that. With Columbia having their first loss of the year a week ago, Firelands, they have their difficult non-conference. Then they got rolling in the league pretty much. They lost at Black River. They lose a tough one last week with Keystone. I don't quite know what to make of tonight.
Well, and I don't know what to make of Firelands as a team overall. I mean, I looked at their scores this year, and they really struggled through a pretty decent non-league schedule. All three of those schools have winning records right now. I think all three of them right now are in playoff contention. But then they got in the league and they got it rolling a little bit. But they've been a little bit of an enigma to me because they've had some games where they played really well, and some other games where looking at the score and looking at the stats, like they didn't show up. Really out of character for Columbia last week. They've been such a picture of consistency once they get it rolling, and that'll tell you how far Clearview's come this year.
Well, I thought it was that's a great point too. The Clippers were 0-4, and then last week they're able to get Columbia, and tonight they've got the Keystone Wildcats. And Mike Rice was telling me that they had a really emotional big win over Keystone. He didn't know if his kids were ready to take on another team the following week with the same respect isn't the right word, just the same focus that they had to have versus Keystone, that there was a little bit of a letdown for them. And he said credits to Clearview.
Well, absolutely. There is when you play that Keystone game in the middle of the season, as they have the last couple of years, that's been for the conference championship probably more years than not. That Keystone Columbia game, they went over to LaGrange, again a high intensity game, an emotion-filled game. A game that Columbia pulled away a little bit at the end of it, but it really wasn't decided until the fourth quarter. And then they come back against a Clearview team that looks like they've struggled a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of a letdown, and we're dealing with 16 and 17-year-old kids too.
Tom, the Columbia Raiders 8-1 overall. They're fifth in Division 6, Region 21. They know tonight is not the end. No matter if they win or lose tonight, they're playing either next Friday or they might get a bye and play the week after that. Firelands, they're in a different boat, different situation. They're 16th right now in their division, which is Division 4, Region 14. They know no matter what, they're not playing here next week. More than likely, their season is done. But, that's also another mindset. Like, is tonight it for you where Columbia knows no matter what happens tonight, they're not putting the pads away on Monday?
Columbia certainly wants to be home, and I think they'd really like to have that bye. I think that's where that one loss stings a little bit because they were sitting in that fourth spot. I thought they were pretty solid there. Going to draw a bye in the first week. And when you're actually any size school, but when you're small school football, a week to let some kids heal up and get banged up, and we've talked about that throughout the season. The LCA, they beat each other up throughout the year. Just to get a little bit healthy to come into that week 12 game is certainly an advantage.
Speaking of the LCH, Stream 2 tonight, Ron Yance, Michael Rush. They've got Keystone at Clearview, and on our Medina County matchup on Stream 3 tonight, it is Michael Keefe and Rocco Nushi with Strongsville at Brunswick. We're going to take a timeout. We were able to talk with both head coaches just a few minutes ago, and we'll hear from Mike Rice, the head coach of the Columbia Raiders. We'll follow that with a conversation of the Firelands Falcons and head coach Ryan O'Rourke. Those conversations are coming up next as you get ready for the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week, Columbia at Firelands. We continue with the pregame show after this timeout.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me, when your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secure dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Just a few minutes away from Columbia at Firelands, Week 10 regular season finale for both these Lorain County schools. Both teams with a ton to play for. The Columbia Raiders come in with a record of 8-1. They're 5-1 in the LCA to top the conference. 5th place in Division 6, Region 21, coming off their lone loss of the season a week ago to Clearview, 27-21. And Coach, I guess I'll go there. Pretty rare for teams when it's Week 9 and you have your first loss. Is the most interesting thing to you tonight just to see how your team's going to respond, from that adversity from your first loss of the year a week ago?
Yeah, we got a bad taste in our mouth and we want to get it out. And our kids have had a good week of practice and this Friday night couldn't have come fast enough. But we know we got a tough task ahead of us and we're going to have to play some good football to win it tonight.
And, there's a lot can be learned in a loss. What do you think your kids learned and how did they carry that over into the week for preparation heading into tonight?
There's a lot to be learned, and I could point out a few things. Number one, I think just taking every opponent that you play, with the utmost respect and coming game ready week in and week out. And going 10-0 is very hard to do, and maybe we got some young kids maybe looking ahead a little too much at that 10-0, and you lose sight of what's right in front of you. And also, I think, coming off a big game the week before of Keystone and being able to handle that and get right back to work, is sometimes hard. It's hard for everybody, but things happen for a reason. Hopefully we can learn from it and it'll make us better moving forward.
Was the message this week that even though you lost that game, guys, we can still accomplish all the goals that we have? Absolutely.
Every goal that we have is still ahead of us and attainable, and it starts with winning tonight to win the LC8 and be conference champions. And we're, and then, we want to be playing our best football at the end of the year and rolling into the playoffs.
Coach, my first opportunity to see your team. You're 8-1 overall. You're 4-0 on the road, taking a dive into the numbers. You really like to run the ball, averaging over 260 yards a game on the ground. Is that the formula for success for your team? If you guys run the ball and can stop the run somewhat, is that kind of usually spell success for you guys?
Absolutely. That's something we believe in with high school football. Run the ball, stop the run. But we're also, we're gonna take advantage of what we think we could take advantage of, and we want to throw the ball when it's there, and obviously defend the pass as well. But it starts up front. It starts in the box, and it starts with running and stopping the run.
Tell us about some of the guys we're going to be calling on. Who is having some good seasons, for the Raiders offensively? What makes your offense go?
Well, the great thing about our kids offensively is that it's not one guy all the time. I guess you could point to Xavier Hendon in the backfield, who has the most yards and gets probably the most carries. And he's doing an outstanding job carrying that heavy load for us. Wesley Sanders has stepped in nice at quarterback for us when Logan Mangy went down and had himself a very good year. And up front, Sam Andrews is doing a good job, and A.J. Lamb up front are guys that are key contributors.
Coach, defensively, tell us some of the strengths of that defense.
Defense has been tough all year, and that's led by Ambrose Beach and at linebacker. Xavier Hendon's another guy doing a great job. The back end, Andrew Sorensen, has really, been kind of the quarterback on the back end, so, again, up front, you can't say enough about our linebacking crew and what they've done stopping the run.
You've almost got 50 tackles for loss, 19 sacks. You've caused 20 turnovers. When I just read numbers like that without having seen you, I assume this is a real aggressive defense.
Yeah, we have guys that like to go and fly around and rally together, and Coach Bucher and Coach Durante, who mainly run the defense are doing such a great job getting guys to play great team defense and be gap sound and fly around to the football and do your job. And when you have that, you end up having good numbers.
Coach, taking on the Firelands Falcons tonight, a team that is just a game behind you in league play at 4-2, even though they're 4-5 overall. More than likely, this is their final game of the year with their spot. But senior night, they've got a lot to play for. Your thoughts on your opponent?
They're a tough team that has gotten better over the season, as we watched on film. And they're big up front. They got a lot of size, and they do a lot on offense. They'll get in a ton of formations and really put defensive players in conflict. So we're gonna have to really play some good sound defense and fly around and execute and do our job on the defensive end. And then offensively, we're gonna have to control the ball and make sure that we're taking care of the football and not turning it over and punch it in once we get down there, which has been a little bit of a struggle for us over some of the games.
Coach, defensively, your numbers in the first 8 weeks were unbelievable. Gave up 27 points a week ago. Kind of the same type of question as I asked you at the beginning. Are you really interested to see how that unit itself kind of bounces back tonight? And I'm sure they took a lot of pride in those first 8 weeks, weren't happy with 27 on the board a week ago. How excited are you to see how they, perform tonight?
Yeah, I'm real excited. But the thing is, one of those scores was a scoop and score fumble, so
okay.
They really only gave up 21. And you got to give Clearview credit. Last week, they made some plays, especially the one of the, I think it was the second to last touchdown, was just a great play. We were right there coverage wise, and so I think our defense is playing well, and even last week, and they're going to continue that tonight, and I'm confident in that.
Mike, from a health standpoint overall, how are you heading into the final week of the regular season?
We're good to go tonight, as best we've got, and we'll go with the guys we got.
Mike, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck tonight. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's head coach Mike Rice of the Columbia Raiders.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month.
Hi, Tim Elthorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Rob Polinsky, Tom Evans, joined by Ryan O'Rourke, the head coach of the Firelands Falcons. It's senior night, regular season finale. Falcons hoping that this isn't the end of the football season, but they know one thing, it's their last game here at Firelands. And Coach, coming off a tough 33-24 loss at Keystone a week ago, taking on a real good Columbia team. Just talk to us a little bit about how the kids, took that loss Friday and how was practice this week, getting ready for week 10.
Yeah, the kids have been resilient. That's really all you can ask for after a tough loss. So they bounced back, came back Monday. Thought we had a good week of practice, and obviously, you need that heading into a great matchup with a team like Columbia.
And Coach, let's talk a little bit about the game a week ago. I know it could have went your way. You guys got up early. Keystone kind of came back. Seemed like it was kind of a seesaw back and forth game. After you saw the tape and kind of, looked at it and all that, your thoughts on it, going back a week?
Yeah, there's just mistakes here and there, right? We talked about you got to meet the moment, and there was just a couple moments in that game that went Keystone's way. And, that's a tough pill to swallow at times. But, again, you watch the film with the kids, you go over those corrections, and, they do a nice job of rebounding and having a great week of practice.
Coach, you have to talk to the kids about playing in a Week 10 meaningful game. I mean, there's still some things on the line for you here as far as the conference is concerned and outside shot the playoffs, or is that does that go unspoken?
I'd say, the playoff part probably goes unspoken because you just want to deal with what's in front of you. I think kids probably see those scenarios themselves at some point anyways. So, we talk about, getting ourselves an opportunity to get to 5-2 in the conference and make things interesting.
Coach, let's talk about your opponent tonight. Tell us about Columbia. What are they doing on film that has you concerned, that's kind of kept you up a little bit this week?
Yeah, well, Columbia offensively, the triple option offense is always tough. You got to be disciplined, and playing them week 10, that's a quick turnaround to play such a unique offense. So I thought our kids did a good job of taking to what they do, but they're going to have plays. We just got to rebound and make sure we don't take explosive plays and have them pile on us defensively. And then Columbia's defense, they do so many things well. I think they have a lot of good athletes that they move around and have some good pressure packages. So our kids just got to be ready for anything they give us.
You mentioned their triple option offense, how hard it is to prepare for. Do you see anybody else that runs anything like it?
I mean, we do to an extent.
Right.
We just do it from the shotgun, and we throw our triple option portion of it. So we do it quite a bit. So our kids have seen it all year in that respect. And, our week 1 opponent in Edison, we see it as well.
All right, again, we're joined by Ryan O'Rourke, the head coach of the Firelands Falcons. His team set for senior night. And, Coach, can you just talk a little bit about the emotion of that? Games at Firelands are always a big deal. You get community support. Do you talk to the seniors, about the mindset for tonight? And maybe the younger kids that, if the younger kids need a little bit of motivation, that this is a night really dedicated to those seniors and they got to give their best performance for the 12th graders.
Yeah, we certainly make this week about them. Every Wednesday, week 10, we do a senior hit. It's kind of a passing of the torch, so to speak. And, we talk to the underclassmen as well. We let the seniors walk off the practice field on their own for the last time. And then I talk to the underclassmen about, their role and their responsibility, not only for this game, but heading into next season as well.
Coach, we're in week 10. Everybody's beat up, banged up, and we talked with a lot of the LC coaches about this. Oftentimes an injury at your level means 2 or 3 position changes because now it isn't next man up behind them, but sometimes it's shifting somebody. Talk to us about the dynamics of week 10 and try to get guys in the right spots.
Yeah, we've certainly grown accustomed this year to having to shuffle kids around, right? And, for us, it's some personnel changes for sure. We'll still run the same scheme. Just some kids in some different spots. So I thought our kids, you prepare for this in June and July, getting depth ready, getting kids ready as far as what they're supposed to be doing. So we'll have kids step in tonight and play a big role in some different positions that they've been accustomed to.
And Coach, your leading receiver, you were telling us before we got this rolling, he's out. Another one of your receivers, out. How much does that change the offense? And does that mean you're going to have to run the ball even more than you normally would?
It's certainly changed some things. We'll be in a little more 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. It changes a little bit about some things we do in the run game. Pass game, we try to make that, as universal, so to speak, as possible so that we can put kids out there. Maybe it's a different formation, but we're doing the same thing. So our kids have taken to that, and we look to have a pretty similar game plan to what we've had.
Biggest key coming into tonight?
To me, it's going to be the explosive play battle. If we can, have Columbia grind out drives, try to get some stops within those drives, that's going to be key for us. Defensively, then offensively, it's going to be, can we sustain? Can we convert third downs in critical situations? Can we score in the red zone?
Coach, one last thing. We've been out here late in the season before where you had a hard time finding grass on the field. This is the best shape this field's ever been in a Week 10 game. Hats off to your groundskeeper for us.
Yeah, Dan Jackson does a great job. This field looks fantastic. I always say it's the best grass field around, and I think that is the case.
Ryan, you got a lot of other LC8 coaches tonight that are pulling for the Firelands Falcons. You gotten any texts or any, but half joking, but obviously, you got a lot of teams pulling for you tonight.
Yeah, I think we all have a pretty close relationship. I've gotten some texts, not directly about the result, but I've talked to some of the other coaches, and yeah, I think it's a bit of fun. It's obviously unique. I can't imagine too many other conferences in the state have the situation we have right now.
Ryan, thanks for your time. Best of luck.
All right, thanks for having me.
That's Ryan O'Rourke, the head coach of the Firelands Falcons.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secured dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those conversations with both Ryan O'Rourke, the head coach of the Firelands Falcons, and of course, before that, it was Mike Rice, the second-year head coach of the Columbia Raiders. Ryan in his 9th year as head coach here at Firelands. And Tom, did anything stand out to you?
Well, just the, they're banged up a little bit coming in this week, so I think that changes a little bit what Firelands is going to do philosophically tonight. I think in the past we've seen them as a run-oriented team, and they spread the ball around a little bit this year, but with Pollock out, I think that we heard from Coach a little more 12 package, which means the 2 tight ends in the game and probably running the ball a little bit more.
Well, and Pollock, you look at his numbers, Tom, 38 catches, 383 yards, and 5 touchdowns. 5 of the 9 passing touchdowns this year are to Pollock. 383 of their 1,232 yards through the air this year are to Pollock. So basically, he's half your receiving touchdowns. He's about a third of your receiving yards on the year in that young man. So that is a pretty significant injury. There's no doubt about that. And for Columbia, of course, they've been playing without Logan Mengi, their quarterback, since week 4. They've adjusted to that, but they're a running team, Tom. I think they'll continue to do that, obviously. Firelands won the coin toss, so they will get the football to start. So we look at this. The Falcons are 2-2 at home. Last week losing at Keystone 33-24. Offensively, scoring 25 points a game. They averaged 301 yards of total offense, 164 on the ground, 138 through the air. Liam Tobakash, their quarterback, he has thrown, for 1,238 yards, 63%, 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Tom, he's also a threat on the ground. 78 carries for 280 yards, 7 touchdowns. How much different is that to prepare for if you're Firelands that, Columbia's quarterback can run the that for Columbia, that Firelands quarterback, he can run the football. Well,
that tells me that Coach O'Rourke is running the zone read in its purest fashion. In other words, that quarterback, and we heard him talk about that in the pre-game interview, that they run the option. So their quarterback's making some reads too, and that means that he's not necessarily calling that handoff. That quarterback's reading that tackle, much like Columbia's quarterback is reading the tackle in the triple option. So that tells me that Tobakash is reading that tackle, and he's making some decisions on the field himself.
So again, out is Andrew Pollock and Gabe DiFilippo with injuries, and that means we're going to see a couple receivers tonight. Tom, Roman DiFilippo is a junior, Max Brown, a freshman. Neither one of them have a catch this year for Firelands.
Well, I think maybe we might see a little bit more of Brett Brewery, the leading receiver for the Falcons, coming in. This might be a few one-man routes out there to try to get the ball to Brett's hands.
All right, so Brett Brewery, when we look at his numbers, he does have 24 catches, leads them in yardage with 405 yards. That's almost a 17-yard average and 4 touchdowns. So the Raiders are on the field, set to kick off. Columbia with their white jerseys, white pants, and they've got the white helmets with the green numerals, and the Firelands Falcons with the home red jerseys. They have white pants, white helmets, and white numbers on the back of those Firelands jerseys. We're just about set for football. As kicking off for the Columbia Raiders tonight, it will be Jack Washburn. He is 5'10", 170, and a junior. Washburn puts his right foot into it, and we are underway, and the kick is going to be returned at the 10-yard line. It's Caleb Crawford. Crawford across the 20 out to about the 27, and Firelands will get it 1st and 10.
Tackled by Carter Dooley.
Through the years watching this Firelands football team play, for me the key for them has always been their offensive line. they've always had big offensive lines, pretty physical. But when they get into that domination mode, that's when they're playing their best football. When that offensive line can get a head on a hat, and when they get some momentum going in the game, that's when Firelands plays their best football.
Liam Tobakash brings them to the line of scrimmage. Finn Pruitt to his left. Damari Campbell is another running back. They've got two receivers to the far side. Three-man front for Columbia in their 3-4 in the first handoff. Goes to Pruitt. He is hit at the line of scrimmage and brought down. Samuel Andrews brings them down, 6'3", 180, and a senior. Up front for the Firelands Falcons, they're going to go on the left side of the line. Landon Thomas, Alejandro Flores, Clifford Stoll is the center. Right side of the line, Colin Connery and Brady Smith. Taking a look at the defense for Columbia, 3-4. Up front, Ryan Smith, A.J. Lamb, Samuel Andrews. Backers are Jose Rivera, Xavier Hendon on the outside, Ambrose Beach and Wesley Sanders on the inside. 2nd down and 8. Tobakash just throw for the first time. It's caught by Crawford. Crawford at the 30 to the 35, first down to the 40, and he's down the sidelines to midfield into Columbia territory, shoved out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Caleb Crawford with his 7th catch of the season.
And he got a great block from his the other twin out there, the other wide receiver that was out there. I didn't catch his number, but he made a fantastic block to break Crawford loose. He didn't get touched until he was 15 yards down the field.
Well, he was out of bounds at the 48, so they're going to take about 15 yards off of that time. He was out of bounds at the 48, but nonetheless a first down catch. Secondary for Columbia, the corners are Jacob Rust, Carter Dooley, and the safeties Andrew Sorensen and Peyton Ladke. So 1st and 10 from the 48. Tobakash out of the shotgun. Now they go in motion. One of the tight ends is Aiden Fortner, goes to the right side. Empty backfield for Tobakash. And he takes it straight back to throw. He's flushed out of the pocket, throws it to Crawford. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and brought down. He'll lose a couple. Carter Dooley, 5 foot, 145, and a senior on the stop. A couple interceptions for Carter Dooley. Well, he's obviously taller than 5 foot. That's a mistake in the program.
Yeah.
But Carter Dooley with the tackle.
I think they left the second number off there. Great job of coming up on that one. And I think that maybe that's a little tell, because certainly when Firelands shifted in that formation, we saw Columbia do a little altering of the defense as well.
So from midfield on 2nd and 12 for the Falcons. Opening drive, Tobakash, quarterback keeper, falls down on the grass, falls forward for a yard. 3rd and 11. Tobakash on the year, 72 yards, or 72 carries for 280 yards. He's throwing 105 for 167 for 1,238 yards. Their running backs, Pruitt has 348, Campbell 357, Tobakash with 280. They don't have anybody with great numbers, but collectively they get the job done, as they are averaging 164 yards per game on the ground. 3rd and 11 from the Columbia 49. Opening drive of the game, we played 2 minutes, no score. Tobakash with a screen, it's going to be caught, and it's a short gain of about 2 for the Falcons. That was Finn Pruitt, and a nice job defensively for Columbia, and we'll see our first punt of the football game.
Yeah, they didn't fool anybody with the screen that time. Most of Campbell's yards come when they move him into that wing back spot, and they run that counter back inside with him. He's quick to the hole.
Now we've got a new punter. When I looked at the stats today, Landon Becker and Carter Jones both had punts, and Brett Burry had not had a punt, but Burry is going back to punt. So we think this is his first punt of the season. According to their stat sheet, he was not on there. And Burry gets it off, and it's a low line drive kick. It will bounce at the 10, squibs down to the 5, and are they going to get it before it goes into the end zone? I think they downed it at about the 2-yard line.
Wow, good job.
So
yeah,
go ahead.
Brewery punted that like it was his first punt of the season. He kind of one-hand dropped that and hit a line drive that really got a really nice roll for him.
Tom, we are in a results business.
Yes,
Doesn't
we are.
matter what it looks
yes, we
like.
are.
And Burry got it down inside the 5-yard line. Let's look at the Columbia offense. Mike Rice in his second year. They are 4-0 away from home. They lost last week 27-21 to Clearview. 264 yards on the ground, just 52 through the air, 316 total yards of offense. Wesley Sanders is the sophomore quarterback, 15-25 on the year, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Running back Xavier Hendon, and the slots are Jose Rivera and Andrew Sorensen. Wide receiver Jacob Rust, and the tight end is Ryan Smith. 1st and 10 from their own 2. And they'll turn and hand it off. First back through. Big hole across the 10, out to the 15, to the 20-yard line. Big hole to the 30, out to the 35, to the 38-yard line. And Xavier Hendon who on the year has 149 carries for 963 yards. Boy, he almost gets to 1,000 on that. I think he did, exactly. He goes from his own 2 to the 39, a gain of 37, give him 1,000 yards on the year, and he averages 6.5 per carry with 10 rushing touchdowns.
I want to thank a St. Paul Flyer math teacher for Rob doing that math on the fly right there. That was pretty good of him.
He did write it down for a reason. I thought maybe. Didn't think he'd get it on one carry, but so they get out of their own hole, and now they're going to turn and pitch the football to the far side with it to the 40-yard line to the 45, across midfield, and the first down out at the 45-yard line. Good run by Ambrose Beach. 6 foot 165 and a junior, Ambrose Beach.
And it looks like Columbia's given a little bit wider splits, guard center split. I noticed that on the first play that looked to be maybe a little bit of an extended split and down inside their own 2-yard line. Now, I was a little curious with that, and certainly Hendon broke it wide with that because that's exactly where they went with the ball.
Beach on the year, 18 carries for 90 yards. Up front, Brady Molnar, A.J. Lamb on the left side. Ethan Hanna is the center. Right side of the line is Alex Andrews and Samuel Andrews. We'll get you the Firelands defense momentarily. 1st and 10 Raiders at the Falcon 44. 8 minutes to go first quarter, no score. And they're going to run the option fullback straight ahead and going to get about 5 yards. And I believe that was Hendon. And he'll get to the 39. Let's look at that Falcon defense. For Firelands on the defensive line, you got Brent Burry, Logan Parker, Brady Smith, A.J. Ridenour. The linebackers, Aiden Fortner, Finn Pruitt, and Matt Bednar. The corners are Peyton Lawbacher and Garrett Hardwick. And the safeties, Max Brown, Caleb Crawford. Firelands defensively giving up 28 points per contest. Offensively, the Raiders are scoring 33 points a game. And with the injuries the Falcons have, I don't think they want to get in a shootout with this team. Turn, and they're going to pitch it. Beach will go down the sidelines to the 30. He's to the 20. He'll get into the red zone to the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 for Columbia.
The ball carrier.
And that's just a sweep out of that run-and-shoot formation there. They bring that wing back in motion, that B back, and they just toss sweep to him. They don't pull anybody out in front of him. The far side wing back does a nice job of sealing the corner, and they get to the outside on that.
Tom, an impressive drive here for Columbia. Starting from their own 2, they get to the Falcon 19. They haven't thrown a pass yet. That's not a surprise.
They do it in chunks, though.
Saunders brings the offense to the line of scrimmage. He's under center. And Saunders will take it. First back through Hendon. And he's to the 10-yard line. Has a first down as he's going to get down to the 6. And they are just exploding. They're going to get 13 yards there.
That's a great job by Hendon running with his eyes up, because if he hadn't had his eyes up, he bounced that about a half a man out and picked up the yardage on that one. If he'd have run that right where he took the handoff at, he would have run right into one of his own players on that one.
1st and goal from the 7. As you can see, we've got 6.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. No score, but Columbia knocking on the door trying to do something about it.
Hendon comes in averaging almost 7 yards a carry, and when you're a back, that lone back can average that kind of number throughout the season. That means that your option's been very effective.
He has 10 rushing touchdowns on the campaign. And he'll get it, and he'll go up the gut, and he'll get into the end zone for a touchdown at Xavier Hendon with the touchdown run. And Hendon, you're right, Wesley Sanders, the quarterback, got the touchdown run. I'm sorry about that. Sanders with the touchdown run. That's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And a 7-yard touchdown, and the Raiders immediately go 98 yards, Tom. To say that was an impressive drive is kind of an understatement.
Well, I think that answers the question about whether they'd come out and be focused or not tonight after that tough loss last week to the Clippers. They certainly look very focused on that drive.
Sanders with a 7-yard run. They went 98 yards.
And the kick is good.
And the extra point kick is up by Jack Washburn. It is good. And Columbia takes a 7-0 lead. And we'll be back after this timeout. Raiders 7, the Falcons 0. And you are watching the Chronicle Telegram WEOL YouTube Game of the Week.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Kickoff for the Raiders.
6:08 to go into first quarter. Washburn to kick off. The Raiders out in front, 7-0. Again, it was Sanders with a 7-yard touchdown run. That was his third rushing touchdown of the season. And Columbia leads 7-0 on a 98-yard drive. Kick will come to Crawford. He gets it at his own 9. Crawford straight ahead to the 20. Crawford still on his feet at the 25, and he'll be brought down there. And that's where Firelands will set up their offense for their second drive of this football game. So the Columbia Raiders defensively, boy, last week they gave up 27. Now, Coach Rice was right to correct me that they really gave up 21 because the one score was a defensive score, but that was a team that had given up 61 points on the year up till then.
Right.
And then now they're up to 88 points. So they're still only averaging 10 points a game they're giving up. They've caused 20 turnovers, Tom. They have 19 sacks and nearly 50 tackles for loss. That's an aggressive group. 1st and 10, Liam Tobicash out of the shotgun. The signal caller will turn and he'll hand it off. Getting out to the 28-yard line.
The ball carrier.
On the right side is Finn Pruitt. And it was Andrew Sorensen, 5'9", 170, the senior, there defensively.
We talk about units taking on the personality of maybe the coordinator, and that certainly fits Dan Durani's personality. He's very aggressive. I watched him coach baseball for many years. I think that defensive unit is a reflection of just how Dan wants to get after things. That's exactly what he wants out of that defense.
5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, 7-0. Columbia out front, 2nd and 7 for the Falcons from their own 28-yard line. Both teams trying to bounce back from a Week 9 loss. Tobicash will throw it out in the flat to Finn Pruitt. Pruitt makes the catch, gets the 30, still on his feet to the 34, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
A little more manageable there. Then, boy, Lamb is a load on the nose tackle there. He's 295. That time they loop him around. I think if he got a hand up in the air, he might have batted that one down. But he really does take away that middle run for the Raiders. He forces teams to do things outside of the guards because he occupies 2 gaps down there.
Ambrose Beach was the inside linebacker on the stop. One of the leading tacklers was 66. He has 11.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks. They've got to be aware of Ambrose Beach defensively. Fortner comes in motion from the far to the near side at tight end. And it's 3rd and 1. And the Falcons will have a whistle blow before the play. And it's a false start on Firelands. Coach O'Rourke wants an explanation, not happy. Boy, you go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6, and those are the kinds of things that can be drive killers.
And that was Tobicash going to just run a power-off tackle there, and it looked like he was going to get it just from the way that was shaping itself up there.
Did it look like he moved? Was it? You think it was?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trying to get a head start.
A little bit of an early start for him.
Roman DiFilippo comes here to the near side. He's one of those young receivers getting an opportunity because of the injuries to Gabe DiFilippo and to Andrew Pollock. So 3rd and 6 from their 29. Falcons trying to get a first down 7-0. 4 minutes to go, first quarter. Tobicash to throw, has a man wide open, doesn't see him, goes to Burry, but he makes the catch. He's at the 40, down to the 30, fumbles the football, and it's going to be taken by another Falcon. Oh, did Firelands get fortunate there?
He fumbled it, and I think he caught it in the air, the other Falcon.
That was Roman DiFilippo who came up with it. It was Roman DiFilippo who was absolutely wide open down the middle of the field. They got it to Burry, and he gets a first down down to the Raider 23. And Tom, did the Falcons need that? Having losing 7-0, the last thing they needed to do was go 3 and out.
Yeah, turn the ball over quickly. So now threatening in Raider territory.
Pruitt to the right hip of Tobicash on 1st and 10 from the 23. 3.5 minutes to go, first quarter, 7-0 Raiders. And they fake the handoff to Pruitt. Tobicash will throw it out in the flat to Fortner, the tight end, shoved out of bounds at the 21-yard line by Xavier Hendon. And for Aiden Fortner, that will be his 10th catch this season.
That's a little bit of that 12 formation that Coach O'Rourke talked to us, 2 tight ends, and that time he dragged the tight end behind the line of scrimmage and tried to get it to him quickly so he could turn up. But, boy, the Raiders were right there to stop that.
2nd and 6 from the 23. Empty backfield. Tobicash, 6'3", 190. He's a junior. The center, Clifford Stoll. one of the seniors who was honored before the game on senior night. Tobacash will throw it out in the flat. It's caught by Caleb Crawford. And coming up and making a great stop there defensively is Carter Dooley. Dooley, the cornerback, he read it. He made the play. It's 3rd and long.
And that's the same play that Firelands opened the game with. He picked up about 25 yards on. That time the defender really kind of came up and beat the block of the other wideout.
So 3rd and 9 from the 23. Now where the ball is, obviously Firelands in 4-down territory. So you don't have to get the 9 yards on one play is my point. Roman DiFilippo lines up on the far side, 2 receivers to the near. Tobacash waits for it, takes it, rolls right. They flood to the right side. He's going to throw it in the flat. Caught by Burry, and Burry was nailed again by Dooley. Dooley goes to either side of the ball, Tom. They put him on both sides, and I'll tell you what, he snuffs out those screens.
Yeah, and Burry that time came out of the backfield. They tried to sneak him out underneath, and they weren't having any of that in the secondary for the Raiders.
There's no sneaking. Well, so much for that thought. They're going to kick. Here I thought they were in 4-down territory, but they are going to kick a 38-yard field goal, and it'll be Landon Becker. Now, we don't have kicking numbers on the Falcons from their website. They don't put those on there. And Becker with a 38-yard field goal, and it is no good. Had the distance, but it was wide left, and Firelands with a good drive, but they don't get anything. So with 1:39 to go in the first quarter, it is 7-0. Columbia, they get the football back. So even though the Falcons didn't score time, I thought it was important for them to get a solid drive together. They did that, but they get snuffed out.
Yeah, nice drive by him. I would agree with you, Rob. I thought they were definitely in 4-down territory at that point, but when the 3rd down, they didn't pick anything up on 3rd down. That really made it a tough 4th down situation for them.
Again, just down the road, our Stream 2 game is Keystone and Clearview. Keystone has a 7-0 lead. That game is on Stream 2 with Ron Yance and Mike Rush. Wesley Sanders and the Columbia offense, who on their first drive went 98 yards for a score, back on the field from their own 20. And the turn and the handoff, first back through, and running forward for about 5 to the 25. I believe it was Hendon. Well, we'll see as they unpile. They get to the 26. It was 2nd and 4.
Hendon, the ball carrier.
Hendon, also a pretty accomplished wrestler. District qualifier last year for the Raiders.
Who told you that?
I was there.
Shocking, Tom. Just shocking. We have a timeout on the field for the Columbia Raiders. We have 1:07 to go in the first quarter. We want to keep it here, sir? We keep it here? Okay. With 1:07 to go in the first quarter, it is 7-0. The Raiders have a lead. This close to the end of the first quarter. We'll just keep it here. Rob Polinsky, Tom Evans with you in the booth. Our producer is Jared Kozar. Outside, we've got Dave Rydell doing all the camera work. Appreciate everybody's efforts tonight. Again, on Stream 2, Keystone at Clearview. If you want to hear the Medina County matchup, that's on WEOL.com, Stream 3. And that is Strongsville at Brunswick. And, boy, is that a big game, as both those teams they're fighting for second place behind, obviously, Menor, but a lot of playoff points on the line. That's always a backyard rivalry, Tom, as you know very well.
Yep.
And it is Michael Keefe and Rocco Nushi with Strongsville at Brunswick, two communities that really don't care for one another.
You and I covered that game many years. That was a season ender for us when we covered the Medina County matchup. Yeah, there's no love lost between those two schools whatsoever.
So we have 2nd and 4 for the Raiders from their own 26. 1:07 to go in the first quarter. And Saunders, the sophomore, will turn. He'll hand it off. Hennon gets a first down across the 30. He's out to the 40, to the 45. Penalty flag. I believe it'll be a face mask that'll get added onto this as he gets brought down. But Columbia just ripping off big-time chunks, Tom. That offensive line really doing the job. Brady Molnar, A.J. Lamb, Ethan Hanna, Alex Andrews, and Samuel Andrews. You look at these guys, and, the left side of the line in the center, 255, 295, 220. The right guard, 225. I mean, for a Division VI school, that is big size.
Real good size. I tell you, Lamb gets off the ball for 295. That one was right off of his left butt cheek there, and that was a great job because Hendon didn't get touched until he was 10 yards downfield.
They are going to move it to the 38 of Firelands with a face mask, and Columbia on the drive again as we're under a minute to go in the first quarter. They line up tight. Hendon is the running back behind Sanders. Two slots. Sorensen comes in motion. No, they fake the handoff. Sanders keeps it. Sanders to the 20-yard line. The quarterback down to the 15-yard line, and it's still on his feet. He's brought down. And again, another positive run. That'll be a first down, and Columbia's knocking on the door once again.
Boy, that's a textbook read by Sanders. His eyes were up, and he knew that he was going to pull that ball right now and keep that and get around the corner. He saw the way that tackle collapsed. The end was open. Great read by Sanders on that.
This will probably be the final play of the first quarter as we're down to 20 seconds to go in the quarter.
Sanders started the year as a wide receiver, I believe, and when Mengi went down, he moved into the quarterback spot.
They break the huddle with under 10 seconds. 1st and 10. And they will get the play off. They're going to pitch it to Sorensen. He's to the 15-yard line, penalty flag. He's brought down there. Matt Bednar, the 5'6", 140-pound senior linebacker, there to make the stop.
Bednar does a great job of fighting through a block on that one. Otherwise, Sorensen's off to the races.
Bednar with 28 tackles on the year. So that's going to do it for the first quarter. We have played one quarter. Well, let's see what the penalty is first, and then we'll go to break.
Based on where it was thrown, I think we got a little hold.
If that's the case, it will be the first penalty against Columbia. It is. So we're going to take a timeout. The penalty will go against Columbia. We have played one quarter. Our score, it is Columbia 7, Firelands nothing. We're back with the second quarter right after this timeout. You're watching and listening to the Oh, we're going to do an untimed down. Thank you, sir. So we'll keep it here. Appreciate that. The folks in the press box letting us know that we'll have an untimed down. Thought you only did that on defense, Tom. Obviously, I'm wrong. So they'll mark it at the 27. So they'll run this play. And it'll be 1st and 20 from the 27. Again, Hendon is the running back. Sanders has him in the line of scrimmage. The center is Ethan Hanna. Go in motion, hand it off to Hendon. He'll go straight ahead, maybe gets 3 or 4 yards. Brady Smith, one of the defensive players there to make the stop. Now we've played one quarter, and it's Columbia out in front of Firelands by a score of 7-0. We're back after this. You are watching and listening to the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube High School Game of the Week.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secured dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
And there's the story as we get set to begin the second quarter. 7-0 Columbia. 2nd and 15 from the 22-yard line. Rob and Tom in the booth, along with our producer, Jared Kosar. Dave Rydell doing a great job of getting those pictures. He's right outside the window, right below us. Appreciate everybody's efforts here tonight. The high school football regular season finale between these two LC8 teams. Columbia wants an outright championship. Firelands wants a win and a chance to share it. Keystone also rooting for the Falcons. But it's all Columbia so far. On 2nd and 15, they're going to turn and pitch it. And again to the 20-yard line. Brent Burry is there defensively to bring down the running back for the Columbia Raiders, and it is Ambrose Beach.
Nice job by Burry fighting through a block on that one so he doesn't get the corner again. Good job on the outside by last 2 times by the Falcons defense. Those linebackers now starting to get outside and stop that sweep by the Raiders.
Ambrose Beach in 9 games had 18 carries, so 2 a game. That's already his 3rd or 4th carry of this game. So it's 3rd and 14 from the Falcon 21-yard line. So far, the only thing that stopped the Raiders was that holding call. And turning the throw is Sanders. He's going to throw it, and it is going to be caught at the 10, at the 5, and diving towards the pylon and getting into the end zone for a touchdown from 21 yards out. And that is going to be Jose Rivera. Jose Rivera makes the catch. And for Sanders, his 6th touchdown pass of the season, and the Raiders lead it 13-0.
And actually, I was kind of hyper-focused on the Firelands defender. I thought that might be a pick 6 the way that the safety was coming up on that, and he just missed that. And great throw by Sanders on that one, but I thought that was going to go the other way when he let loose with the ball.
How about Sanders? That's his first pass attempt of the night. And that is the 3rd touchdown for Rivera catching. He has 13 rushing touchdowns, 3rd receiving, and it's going to be 13-0. As A.J. Lamb comes off the field, he'll be replaced on the line. Sanders, the quarterback, is the holder, and the extra point kicker is going to be Jack Washburn.
Washburn to attempt the extra point.
They get the snap down. Washburn's kick is up. It is good, and the Raiders take a 14-0 lead. 11:03 to go until halftime. We'll take a timeout on the field. It is Columbia 14, the Firelands Falcons nothing. You are listening and watching to the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Washburn to kick off for Columbia.
And Washburn set to kick off for the Raiders as you look at one of the light posts here at Firelands. Whistles blow before the kick, so it's going to be a penalty flag. We want to remind you that tonight's game on WEOL and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel brought to you by Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, EcoTree Services, Lorain County Community College, Stewart's TV and Appliance, and our halftime sponsor, Cobos Insurance Center. Appreciate all the sponsors coming with us this year, supporting us through the regular season. Next week, week 11, we'll have high school football playoffs, and as always, WEOL will cover all the Lorain and Medina County schools all the way through the playoffs, which will begin next week, albeit a new format, Tom. I don't know what you think of it. You and I haven't talked about it, but you go from 16 teams down to 12, and the first 4 get a bye. To me, that's the most interesting part of this, that teams 1 through 4 get a bye. You're going to have better first-round games with 5 through 8 hosting 9 through 12.
Absolutely, though. We know there'll be some upsets in there. And, you know, last Saturday morning we talked with Mike Elder about that bye because they were already in line for that week 1 bye, the playoffs, and just kind of what mindset you have to go into that with, because that's something a little bit different on the high school level.
Washburn set to tee it up. They go back 5 yards, and he'll kick it. It is going to be taken at the 20-yard line. And getting out to about the 30 are the Falcons. Brett Burry with that return. 1st and 10, and Tom, the Falcons coming out offensively. They're down 14-0. You know, they had a good drive last time, but on 4th and long, they elected to try a field goal. Was not good, but they did have some positive signs on their last drive.
Yeah, they moved the ball pretty well getting down inside the 20, but they need to get a score because Columbia will run away from it if you don't stop the bleeding pretty soon. And this plays right into Columbia's offense's hand, that triple option. They'll just grind the clock on that. We may not see another pass the rest of the game out of Columbia unless Firelands can force them into getting back into the football game.
So Toba Cash has Damari Campbell on his right side. Campbell on the year, 357 yards on the ground. And it goes through the hands of Toba Cash. He goes back, falls on it. They'll lose about 10 on that play. I think he wanted to hand it off to Campbell. Not sure, but a little miscommunication there with Stoll and Toba Cash. It'll be 2nd and long. Defensively for the Falcons, Tom, are there adjustments to be made? Is it just Columbia's executing? Firelands has to do a better job?
It's Columbia executing. I never decide against an option team after the first series because sometimes you can't simulate that in practice. So sometimes the second series you see them settle in, it becomes more of a game. But certainly Columbia's still having their way. Firelands still not adjusted that triple option.
2nd and 22 from the 18-yard line. Tobicash out of the shotgun. He wants to run it, and he'll be brought down after maybe a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and long as a host of Raiders come up. A.J. Lamb is one of them. And we have a Raider that's shaken up a little bit.
Timeout. Firelands.
And getting up slowly is Ambrose Beach. Falcons take a timeout. We'll keep it here. There's 10 minutes to go in the first half. Raiders up 14-0. We'll let you know that coming up during that Cobos Insurance Center halftime show, we'll get you the scoring recap of this football game. We'll get Tom's thoughts, and, of course, we'll take a chance to have you listen to and enjoy the bands for both high schools, which work so hard. It'll be senior band night here for the Falcons, and, of course, Columbia's band will play as well. That is all coming up at halftime, week 10 of the high school football campaign.
You know, getting back to that triple option, if your quarterback's reading things right, there's always a play for him to make. In other words, he has 3 different options on the play, and so far Sanders has been spot on with all of his reads in that triple option. And if you make one mistake defensively, and Firelands has had some guys out of position, they're paying the price for that.
3rd and 20 for the Falcons. Tobicash almost dropped it, picks it back up. He'll throw, and it's going to be knocked away, broken up. It'll be 4th down. Jacob Rust broke that up. 6'1", 170 to senior, a 3 and out. It's 4th and 20, and Tom, that drive never had a chance because of the first down fumble that they had where they lost about a dozen yards.
No, I don't care who you are. 2nd and 20 is not a good down, and you can throw the ball all over the field all you want. That's tough, and that really advantage to the defense at that point in time. He can do a lot of different things to you, and Columbia's going to come away with great field position, too, after this punt.
Burry with his second punt. His first one landed at the Columbia 2. This one will not. It's a high snap because he's standing from his own 10. Gets off a decent kick. It's going to bounce at about midfield, and it will die at the 48-yard line, and that's where the Raiders take it. 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line.
This is a critical series in the game right now because Columbia comes down and scores. They really start to put the Falcons away here. If the Falcons can get a 3 and out or force a turnover here, that certainly keeps them alive in the game. But you hate to say that this early in the game, but Columbia's had their way offensively so far.
You almost kind of feel that they've got to get a turnover to kind of get it turned around,
just to change the momentum here, yeah.
So from their own 48, the Raiders come to the line of scrimmage. Again, Ethan Hanna, the center, leads them out there. And the turn and the handoff, and bouncing to the outside, the midfield to the 45-yard line, to the 40, down to the 38-yard line, Jose Rivera. Jose Rivera came in, 61 carries, 495 yards, an 8.1-yard average. He has a receiving touchdown. That's his first rush of the game. But, boy, when you've got Hendon and then you got Rivera, one's got 1,000 yards, one now over 500. That's quite a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, that counter to the wingback coming back through, it hits so quick. They were outside before Firelands knew what happened to him there.
And don't forget about Wesley Sanders, the quarterback, came in 56 rushes for 331 yards. He's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. Handoff straight ahead. Hendon will get to the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 3. It's 2nd and 7. We watch them unpile. And for the Firelands Falcons, Landon Thomas, 6'1", 239, junior defensive end, is there to make that stop. Raiders, 3rd drive of the game, already out in front, 14-0.
A lot of the big guys on both teams going both ways here.
Yep, that's typical for small schools. 2nd and 7 from the 35. And they're going to full back straight ahead, and Hendon will get down to the 31-yard line, maybe the 32, as they unpile. That is going to be Brady Smith, 6'1", 267, and senior. So 3rd and 3 for Columbia. They're at the Falcon 31.
I think we're definitely in 4-down territory for the Raiders here as well.
And this is definitely a huge drive for Firelands defensively. Andrew Sorensen just came out of the game. He's one of the slot backs. He comes out. Hendon will get the handoff, tries to get to the far side, does so to the 25-20, gets a first down inside at 20. They're down into the red zone once again, 1st and 10 for Columbia. And right now, this offense just seems like they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and that was good penetration by one of the Falcon defenders, but just couldn't get a hand on Hendon that time.
Do the Raiders just look quicker coming off the ball?
Absolutely. They're hitting on all 8 cylinders.
1st and 10 from the Falcons 17-yard line. Columbia trying to get another one here as they lead 14-0. Sanders will turn and he'll hand it off, and straight ahead is Hendon down to the 15-yard line. Much better job that time defensively for Firelands as they kind of had a brick wall there, led by Brady Smith, 6'1", 267, and a senior.
And it's really easy to say, but the key to stopping the option is just assignment football, and it's just no more than one gap responsibility. But as soon as you lose a gap anywhere, that option offense is built to beat it. In other words, if the quarterback's got his eyes up and knows where that weakness is, he can take advantage of that.
Ambrose Beach back out there now offensively. He's the leading tackler on defense, but he's back in there on the offense as well with Hendon and Jose Rivera as a slot back. Jose Rivera comes in motion, and Sanders will keep it. Sanders, the quarterback, to the 10, to the 5. Second rushing touchdown of the night. 15-yard touchdown for Wesley Sanders. As I just mentioned, his second rushing touchdown of the night. That gives him 4 rushing touchdowns on the year, and it is all Columbia, 20-0.
And another great read by Sanders that time. He fakes to Hendon on the inside. He's got his eyes up. He sees that the tackle has collapsed. He just steps that around and straight forward into the end zone.
You know, Logan Mengi is a junior. He has a season-ending injury. You're going to have Mengi and Sanders back next year.
Well, I got my thoughts on that. We'll talk about it here in a little bit.
Kind of brought it up for a reason, Tom. I thought you might. Extra point kick is up. It is good. It is Columbia 21 and the Firelands Falcons nothing. We have 6:46 to go in the first half. We're going to have a timeout. Tom Evans will give us his thoughts right after this.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
6:46 to go in the first half. It is all Columbia. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. They lead Firelands 21-0. Tom, I'm a little surprised how easy it has been for Columbia tonight to this point.
Really, it has looked effortless for them tonight, and really taking the physicality away from the Falcons defensively.
Crawford with the return, running sideways. He's going to be brought down inside the 20, all the way back at about the 15. Andrew Sorensen, one of a couple of Raiders there to make the stop. Before we went to break, we were talking about the fact that next year, Logan Mengi, the junior quarterback this year, who's out with an injury, will be back. Sanders is getting great experience as a sophomore playing now because Mengi's hurt. They're both back next year. One will be a senior, one will be a junior.
And Mengi played that wingback spot as a freshman when they had Sirigliano at the tailback spot. And I might be inclined to move Mengi back to that wingback spot because you bring Hendon back at your A-back, your fullback spot there. And, boy, that gives you a lot of firepower.
Boy, they are going to have some skilled players next year, aren't they?
Absolutely.
With experience. 1st and 10, Tobicash keeps it. He's brought down at the line of scrimmage. And it was Samuel Andrews who was the first one to get to him. He kept him on his feet. Then he got a little bit of help there.
Almost looked like a broken play from the get-go there. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a quarterback power-off tackle or not.
First down the last couple of series has not been a good down for Firelands.
And the aggressiveness of this Raider defense, too, making a difference up front, really taking away a lot of seams by just really charging hard.
2nd and 8 from the 19. Halfway through the second quarter. And Tobakash wants to flip it out here on the right side. He will to Burry. Burry makes the catch. He gets to the 35. He'll get a first down. Still on his feet, fighting towards the 40-yard line as Burry makes the catch. He came into the ball game, 24 catches, 405 yards, 4 touchdowns with a nearly 17-yard per catch average, 6'2", 220, and a sophomore. 1st and 10 for the Falcons.
Firelands' success on offense has been when they've been able to get the ball to the outside and get a block or two out there. That time it's Burry, before it was Crawford. They seem to have some luck on the perimeter. If they can keep attacking these corners a little bit with some of those pop screens and some of that stuff, maybe they can get something going offensively.
From their own 30, 1st and 10. Falcons trying to get something going, looking for their first points of the night. Burry, the tight end, lines up on the left side of the formation. Tobakash fakes the handoff, throws the screen. It will be caught by Fortner, the tight end. Fortner gets a first down across the 40, fumbles the ball, but the Falcons come up with it. He was down anyway, but Firelands came up with it. It's a gain of 15 to Fortner, his second catch of the night.
Again, that's where they drag Fortner's behind the line of scrimmage on that one and throw the ball to him in the flat in hopes that he can get his shoulder squared up and turn downfield, and that time he did.
Christian Castillo-Books came up with that fumble even though he was ruled down, but credit to Christian Castillo-Books for falling on the pigskin.
It's a couple times that Firelands put the ball on the ground tonight and their own guys been there to recover it.
1st and 10 from the 45. Falcons trying to get a drive here as Columbia will get the second half kickoff. Tobakash rolls to his right. He's in trouble, and he will be brought down. He'll lose about 7 as Samuel Andrews, 6'3", 180 senior defensive tackle. He had 3 tackles for loss on the year, makes the stop, and the Falcons want a timeout.
And actually, that was a pretty good defense for the Falcons to be thrown in, because that's the first time all night that Columbia's rolled up out of their 2-deep look, but Tobakash couldn't find a receiver, couldn't get rid of it.
That is the 20th sack of the year for Columbia as a defense. So this aggressive defense continuing to play that way. You know, I kind of hinted with Mike Rice. He didn't really go there. I was wondering how ticked off this defense was, Tom. They'd given up 61 points through 8 games. That's, you know, what, about 7.5 points a game last week? 27. Now, granted, one of them was a defensive score, but still they gave up 21 to Clearview in that loss. He downplayed it a little bit, but I was kind of
downplayed it to you. I guarantee you he didn't downplay it all week in practice, and neither did Coach Durante. With the way they played defense all year, I know Coach Durante pretty well from through the years, and he let him hear about it all week.
We know him too for baseball. He was still giving me a hard time for doing. Jared and I did the Brookside at Columbia Brookside baseball game last spring. That I think that game just ended. He was teasing us for being there. He's a great guy. 4.5 minutes to go in the half. Tobakash back to throw. Fires, has a man. It is caught. It's a first down. That big tight end, Aiden Fortner, he's having a night, Tom. That's his 3rd catch of the night.
Nice job of he kind of found a soft spot in the zone out there and just sat down and waited for the ball to get to him. And he's a load. One of the Raiders tried to come up and give him one of those shoulder checks to knock him down. And he wasn't having any of that. He turned around and picked up another 5 or 6 yards after that.
So it's from the 42-yard line, 1st and 10.
If you're going to bring Fortner down, you're going to have to tackle him. You're going to have to wrap him up. He's not going to fall over with one of those little shoulder checks.
6'1", 220 in his senior time. He came into the ball game, 9 catches for 108 yards. He's got at least 3 tonight. And a handoff to Damari Campbell. Campbell at the 40, and he'll be brought down at the 36-yard line. Jose Rivera. 44 tackles on the year for the outside linebacker, brought him down.
I think one of the keys for Firelands getting back into this is they got to get the ball in Damari Campbell's hand. I think a couple weeks ago he had a 3-touchdown game for him. He's their game breaker, so they've got to get the ball to Damari in space and let him do some stuff here.
I get the feeling that if Firelands is going to get back in this football game, I just get the feeling that they've got to score on this drive, even though we're still in the first half, down 21-0. How Columbia's done, and the fact that Columbia gets the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Damari Campbell with the football. He's at the 30. Campbell bounces to the outside of the 25-yard line, dives forward to the 23. He is down. The fumble came after he was already down. Jacob Rust cornerback brings him down, but
Tackled by Russ.
Firelands had a drive like this earlier.
That's
and it ended with a missed field goal opportunity. They need more than that here.
2 nice runs by Campbell.
North Ridgeville out in front of Olmsted Falls, 19-14. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, Nick Abraham, Saturday morning wrap-up show. It will be Ron Yance and Rocco Nushi tomorrow from the Chronicle Telegram. And the handoff to Burry. Burry here on a jet sweep, not going anywhere, and he'll be brought down. He's going to lose yardage, and that was a great job by Wesley Sanders, the inside linebacker. He drug it out, got help from his friends, 5'9", 195, but a sophomore, and the quarterback, who's also the inside linebacker with a big play.
You only see that that combination, Division 6 and Division 7, where your quarterback's your inside linebacker, but Brewery needed to tuck that inside because Sanders, he just blew that up and slowed that down enough for all of his friends to get there and help out. You talk about a team that's figured out the triple option. North Ridgeville's had a lot of success against Olmsted Falls in stopping that, maybe more so than a lot of teams have.
2nd and 15 from the 29. Toba Cash out of the shotgun. Damari Campbell on his left hip. Falcons have 1 timeout remaining. Back to throw. Toba Cash swings it out to Campbell. Campbell at the 30. Nowhere to really go. Falls forward to about the 27. Ambrose Beach is there defensively.
I like that thought, but I don't like it into the short side of the field. Get the ball out to Damari on the wide side of the field and give him a little space to run because I think he's got a little shake and bake in him and he can make some people miss.
Well, the line of scrimmage is the Columbia 27. They need to get to about the 14 for a first down. It'll be a third and 14 from the 27. Minute and a half to go first half. Columbia up 3 scores. And Tobacash fakes the handoff to Campbell, rolling to his right.
Oh.
In trouble, gets rid of it, throws it out of bounds. It'll be 4th and long.
Boy, he missed a guy early. I'm trying to pick up that.
Complete.
One of the tight ends down there was open early, and Tobacash did not see him, but we're right around the 10-yard line.
So it'll be 4th and 14. Caleb Crawford, number 2, was running downfield. I'm not sure if that's who you meant, Tom. It's hard for me to see what you didn't see. I have my own things I can't see, let alone trying to guess what you're not seeing.
I'm trying to scramble and pick up some numbers here.
There's this new concept, Tom, in doing this that I can't help have you missee what you didn't see. I have my own things I can't find. 4th and 14, they're going to go for it. 3 receivers to the far side of the field. Tobacash, empty backfield, back to throw, steps up, fires downfield for Burry, and it'll be overthrown and incomplete. And it'll be Columbia taking over. So I guess the story of the half obviously is the Columbia offense, right? 3 drives, 3 scores. But also, Firelands has knocked on the door twice. They have nothing. You got to get something.
Right, and no points to go for it. And that Columbia defense gets that much more aggressive when you get into their zone, too. They're really coming at you from a lot of different angles. Brewery wanted an interference call on that. He just kind of quit on it at about the 15. I think had he kept running, that ball would have been right where he needed it to be.
1:08 to go in half. Clock stopped on the change of possession. 21-0. Now Columbia has 2 timeouts, but the ball at their own 27. I wouldn't expect them to try anything. Just run it and see what happens. But, and again, for Columbia, they're going to get the football to start the second half. Senior night at Firelands. So far, it's been Columbia. Sanders under center. Ambrose Beach in motion to fumble, and getting the ball is going to be Sanders. Keeps it. He gets to the 30, a stiff arm to the 35, shoved out of bounds. Well, I guess it's been that kind of night. Even when you make a mistake, you come up.
And you pick it up and pick up yardage.
Yeah.
There was no whistle on that. The side judge is saying that he had the ball recovered. We're going to see if they bring this back to the 24-yard line or not.
The only thing I could understand would be if they're saying Sanders' knee was down when he picked it up, but I didn't see it, but wouldn't be the first thing I didn't see tonight. So they're going to mark it at the 25, and that should put the ball back in play because it wasn't out of bounds then. So they'll mark it now and put it in play. So it's basically a loss of a 2, but even when they fumble it, they still, Falcons can't fall on it. Falcons do have 1 timeout remaining, but 2nd and 12 from the 25. And the handoff, and Hendon straight ahead. He'll get a couple, and there defensively was Brady Smith.
Tackled by Brady Smith.
Nice job by Smith.
Jared,
slanting down in there.
Jared Kozar, our on-site producer, tells us the Raiders don't have to run another play. Falcons do have one timeout remaining, but it doesn't look like they're going to use it. And Columbia is starting to head to the sidelines. Down to 10 seconds to go in the half. And that is going to do it. So that'll do it for the very quick-moving first half of play. Our score at halftime, it is the Columbia Raiders 21, the Firelands Falcons nothing. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll recap the first half scoring, and then we'll get you right into the bands, and we'll get Tom Evans' thoughts a little bit later before the start of the second half. But for now, halftime show is coming up, and I want to remind you that that's brought to you by Cobos Insurance Center, your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent. We're back right after this.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Welcome back to the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. Columbia leads 21-0. Recapping the scoring, 6:08 to go in the first quarter on their opening drive. Quarterback Wesley Sanders, a 7-yard run. Extra point was good. Columbia led at 7-0. That's how the first quarter ended. Early in the second quarter, with 11:03 to go in the half, the only pass attempt for Columbia tonight, well, is a 21-yard touchdown. Sanders to Rivera, 24-yard pass play, extra point good, 14-0. Stayed that way till 6:46 to go in the first half. Sanders on a 15-yard touchdown run, his second of the night, his fourth of the season, and Columbia led it by a score of 21-0. You can see the scores that are scrolling on the bottom of the screen. We'll get Tom's thoughts after the bands, but now we're going to have you listen to and enjoy the Columbia High School Marching Band.
We're turning up the volume for our next performance with a classic from the pioneers of heavy metal, Black Sabbath. Released in 1970, this song was written by all 4 members of the band and became a high-energy anthem that rocked the world. In honor and memory of the late Ozzy Osbourne, the Raider Band is proud to bring you the performance of the legendary hit, Paranoid. Our final performance of the night takes us to the year 2000, where Southern California pop-punk trio Blink-182 released a song that became a cult classic for a generation. This song earned platinum status and gave us one of the most memorable lyrics nearly all of us can probably relate to. Work sucks, I know. The Raider Band will now bring a marching band spin to the iconic hit, All the Small Things. ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting the 2025 Marching Raiders.
And there you hear the performance of the Columbia Raiders here at halftime. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to hear the senior night performance of the Firelands Band. Columbia leads 21-0. More of the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show right after this timeout.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secured dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Some say it's aromatherapeutic, others say it's snot. But either way, you'll celebrate every note. We shouldn't pick nose puns, but avoiding them wouldn't make any sense. Look for the band to form a 6-7, which changes into a 26 in honor of our seniors' graduation year. Senior Field Commander Logan Parker really has a nose for conducting and leads the Mighty Falcon Marching Band for Nirvana's iconic Smells Like Teen Spirit. Our second sensational senior selection showcases the sizzling, spellbinding sounds of the spectacular, strong-spirited Mighty Falcon Marching Band. With a soaring sonority, snapping snares, and sweeping symphonic splendor, they'll send your spirit skyward. So sit back, smile, and soak it in and savor the stunning, skillful slinging of senior color guard soloist Abigail Sittinger as the band soars through Escape. Our senior class has shown incredible growth and leadership this year. We wanted to take this time to recognize Trevor, Nathan, Brianna, Abigail, Hayden, Lacey, Addie, Logan, Marshall, and Allison, and wish them all the best as their marching career nears the end of their final season. Thank you, seniors. Your leadership, tenacity, toughness, and grit will serve you well in your lives after the Mighty Falcon Marching Band. Please welcome Junior Field Commander Brody Schlechter conducting the finale of our senior show, Metallica's Master of Puppets. The 2025-26 Mighty Falcon Marching Band is under the direction of Mr. Justin A. Wiley, Director of Bands at FHS. Flag advisors Julian Woods and Becca Hopkins. Percussion advisor Kyle Lutz. Assistant Director Cinda Willis. And I'm your announcer, Firelands Field Commander.
And that was the Firelands Marching Band with their senior night performance here at Firelands High School. Columbia leads at 21-0. We'll get the thoughts of the first half from Tom Evans right after this timeout, and we'll have the second half of football for you. Again, our halftime score, Columbia out in front of Firelands, 21-0. We're back after this on the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, Contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And welcome back to the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. Rob Polinsky, Tom Evans with you. And Tom, obviously all first half, all Columbia, up 21-0. Firelands a couple drives, but bottom line, they couldn't convert when they had to. And Columbia, their offense all first half long was running on all 8 cylinders. Your thoughts on what we saw?
Well, you know, Columbia came out ready to play. They knew what was on the line tonight. They were very focused, and they've done virtually everything they wanted to do. And this Falcon team has never really seemed to get into sync, either defensively or offensively. They've had some stuff to the outside. This worked a little bit for them. I think Damari Campbell showed a little bit of spark there in the second quarter, but they're going to need some help from the Raiders putting the ball on the ground to get back in this game, I think.
You know, as good as both teams have played, especially in league play this year, coming off of Week 9 losses for both of them, I told you I really didn't get a feel for what we were going to see. I didn't know about the Falcons' injuries. Obviously, that has not helped the case, but those Falcon injuries really don't have anything to do with their defensive performance, but still, it's impressive. Obviously, Columbia was not happy they lost last Friday.
No, and I imagine the intensity really got cranked up, and we were talking to about Coach Durante and the level of intensity he brings, and I guarantee you that they were that way all week in practice.
Tom, you want to do the out-of-town scoreboard? I mean, Jared worked so hard on it, you know.
Yeah, we don't have the whiteboard anymore. We have the yellow board now.
Boy,
we've gone with.
The more things change, the more they change.
But I can still read Jared's writing though. So, and if you're watching on YouTube, you see those scores across the screen. Keystone up 13-0 at Clearview over Clearview at the half. Strongsville up 10-0 at the half against Brunswick. Black River 26, Oberlin 6 in the second quarter. Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy all over Elyria Catholic 28-6 in the second quarter. Akron Hoban up on St. Ed's 14-7 in the second quarter. Avon up 40-7 on Elyria at the half. North Ridgeville up 22-21 over Olmsted Falls. We talked about North Ridgeville seems to be one of those teams that have figured out the option. They've had good luck against Olmsted Falls the last couple of years. We'll see how that ends up over there. Midview and Amherst 0-0 at the half. That's a little surprising for me. Both the teams, those teams with a lot of offense. Brea Mid-Park 14, Avon Lake 14 in the second quarter, and Medina all over the Lorain Titans 30-8 in the second quarter.
All right, Falcons are out ready to kick, and the Raiders will be coming out shortly. We want to remind you that tonight's halftime show was brought to you by Cobos Insurance Center, your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent. And again, thanks to all of our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, EcoTree Services, Lorain County Community College, Stewart's TV and Appliance, and the aforementioned Cobos Insurance Center. Appreciate all those folks. Once again this year, doing our first year of these Chronicle Telegram WEOL YouTube games. Dave Rydell doing a great job on the camera. Jared Kozar, our on-site producer extraordinaire. A new venture for WEOL.com this year, and it has gone very well. So we thank you all for watching, and
Crawford to kick off
keep spreading it to your friends. If you're watching, let them know about it as well. Short squib kick that is going to be taken at the 35-yard line. I wouldn't call it an onside kick per se, but just kind of a dribbler that Wesley Sanders came up with on the 35.
By number 9, Wesley Sanders.
Drop that in a little soft spot there down on the 35-yard line. Sanders does a nice job of going and covering. I don't know if you want your quarterback covering that ball or taking some shots from those guys running down on him.
Tommy's your inside linebacker.
That's true, too. That's right. Okay, your inside linebacker can take that shot. Your quarterback, you don't want him to take that shot.
Yeah. From their own 35. Raiders are 5th in Division 6 Region 21. They need a win, and then they're hoping to vault to getting a 4th spot so that they get a bye next week, and, of course, an outright LC8 championship. Hand off Xavier Hendon, who had a big first half. He went over 1,000 yards on the year in the first half. He'll get 6 to the 41, 2nd and 4.
Tackled by Finn Pruitt.
I talked to Coach Durante and Coach Albright about that before the game, because for a couple weeks there it looked like Columbia might be lining up to play Cuyahoga Heights, 2 option teams going head-to-head.
Could that still happen?
It could. It could, based on the way this shakes itself out.
They'll get to the 41-yard line. 2nd and 4. Hendon behind them. And they're going to turn and pitch the ball to Sorensen. Sorensen to the far side with a first down. Sorensen gets into Firelands territory. 5'9", 170, the senior. That's that successful sweep that we saw early on the first and second series. They do it again.
And Sorensen just gets to the corner so quick on that. Firelands has to react to that motion when he starts in motion on that. They've got to roll a safety up to get a little alley fill on that because Sorensen's just getting out in the open way too fast on that.
So the Columbia Raiders, who averaged 33 points a game on offense, defensively, Firelands has struggled a little bit this year. They're giving up 28, and it is playing out that way here tonight. 21-0 Columbia, a minute into the third quarter. And the turn, they're going to pitch it this time to Jose Rivera, and Rivera will get to the 40, down to about the 37-yard line on the far side. He is hit there by the Columbia sidelines. It looks like Aiden Fortner might have been one of a couple different Falcons that were there.
By Evan Lowe.
And this is what the option wants you to do. They run that sweep a couple times. They want that defense to spread itself out a little bit. Then they'll come back inside with either the quarterback keeper or they'll bring Hendon right off the tackle.
Got a new cornerback out there for Firelands, 6'1", 164, a junior, and that is Evan Lowe. So he's out there now, 2nd and 2 for the Raiders. Sanders under center. Again, goes in motion to Sorensen. He'll hand it off to Hendon. He'll get the first down to the 30, to the 25-yard line, still on his feet, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, drug down inside the 10. First and goal, Matt Bednar kept him from the end zone. But first and goal at the 9-yard line, and this Columbia offense, the juggernaut, just continues.
That's what we just talked about, that going wide a couple plays in a row. Those tackles step out a little bit, and there's Hendon hitting it inside, and big gainer for him.
Sorensen comes out of the game. And coming in, Jacob Rust. Tight end is Ryan Smith. Columbia has attempted one pass tonight. It was a 21-yard touchdown. First and goal from the 9. Hendon lines up behind Sanders. Ambrose Beach goes in motion. Beach gets the toss sweep. Beach at the 10, at the 5, and he's going to get into the end zone for a 9-yard touchdown run. Ambrose Beach gives Columbia a 27-0 lead with 9:17 to go in this game. And for Beach, again, he had 18 rushes for 90 yards on the campaign, and tonight he has done gotten the ball much more than that. And for Beach, that's his first rushing touchdown of the season, unless I'm missing something here. I think that is his first rushing touchdown of the year.
Washburn to attempt the extra
Again, that's
point.
that sweep. He gets to the outside so fast on that.
The kick is up by Washburn, and the kick is good. And the Columbia Raiders extend their lead to 28-0. 9:17 to go in the third. It is 28-0 Columbia. We're back after this on the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
$9:17 to go in the third quarter. Just confirming that was Beach's first touchdown of the year. He did have a 2-point conversion as I was looking on the scoring chart during the break. So the linebacker who leads them in tackles, also occasionally plays offense. What a thrill for him, Tom, to get into the end zone for the first time as a linebacker leading them in tackles on the season. He's kept a lot of guys out of the end zone, but that's the first time he's been able to get in.
They've been rotating a lot of backs for that wingback spot tonight for the Raiders.
At the 10-yard line, they're going to bring it ahead. Crawford will get across the 20 to about the 23. You know, this is a part of the game we don't talk about probably enough, but how about Columbia with their kickoff coverage? They have not let Firelands get any big-time, returns that could also help that offense get going.
And you watch the Firelands returners, and that Crawford, that's 3 or 4 for him, and he there's no seams, and he's kind of looking and finding, but boy, do they get down the cover in a hurry.
And so Firelands, they'll come out on offense for the first time in the second half from their own 24. They trail 28-0 with a 9:11 to go in the third quarter. The Raiders have had the ball 5 times, scored 4 touchdowns. The only time they didn't score was the end of the half, when in fairness to them, they only had the ball for 1:11 and we're just running out the clock. Here's an inside handoff to Aiden Fortner. So they do something a little bit different there. Fortner will go ahead for a few yards, and he is going to be brought down that time by Logan Rose. Rose 5'9" and 185, and a sophomore linebacker.
They get all the motion going right that time, and Fortner coming back from that wing back, from that slot spot on the right-hand side, and cuts that back through. They try to get you with a little misdirection. Nice job of staying home by the Raiders to prevent that from being a big one.
For Fortner, that's his first rush of the year. 2nd and 5 from the 29. Again, they're without 2 of their top receivers. Tobicash will throw it to Burry. Burry with a first down. He'll get to the 40. Penalty flag. Another flag. This one more than likely will come back, but Burry gets into Columbia territory. But Tom there without Andrew Pollock. 38 catches, 353 yards, 5 touchdowns. Gabe DiFilippo, 8 catches, 98 yards. So when you're without 46 catches and almost 500 yards, you just don't replace it.
No, and it really, you have to make some serious adjustments to what you're doing offensively, because you're just not plugging somebody else in there to that role. And we've seen it with the tight ends tonight.
But the other thing, because of that, Tom, maybe, and now down 28-0, obviously the game plan is different. But, coming in, maybe they were forced to throw or run the ball, maybe a little bit more than they would have wanted to. Maybe they could have opened it up a little bit, had they had those receivers. But obviously we know, and it seems like this year more than ever, injuries are just a big part of high school football.
Yeah, and it really limits the play card. I mean, because of the adjustments you make with the people you have on the field, it really limits what you can do offensively. So you're constantly making adjustments with your personnel and who you have in the game and what you have the ability to run.
Again, you can see the scores going across the bottom of your screen there. Our Stream 2 game, Keystone's up 13-0. The Medina County matchup, Stream 3, Strongsville over Brunswick, 10-0. And on 2nd and long, they fake the handoff. They throw it out here to Burry. Burry breaks one tackle to 25, dives to the 30, brought down there. Carter Dooley defensively for the Raiders. We have said Carter Dooley's name more than once tonight.
By Carter Dooley.
Great job of coming up to make the tackle that time. And really, Firelands is trying to attack the flats with with Burry and some of the tight end play. They're playing an H-back, the tight end and an H-back, not really in a slot position there. We've seen them bring them back through on a running play, and also drag them across and run them into the shallow flat there for some short passing game.
Dooley coming into the game had 25 tackles. 3rd and 4. Falcons trying to get a 3rd down conversion here, and they might have been gifted one. There was some movement along the line. Let's see, it is. And offsides on Columbia. That'll give the Falcons an automatic first down.
Yeah, the Raiders were showing blitz for sure that time.
Columbia.
As Logan Rose, the linebacker, kind of stepped up in the gap and leaned into the neutral zone there.
So from their own 36-yard line, Firelands gets a fresh set of downs, trailing 28-0. This fast-moving game with Columbia running on every play except one. And we're down to 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. 28-0 Raiders. Tobicash out of the shotgun as he's been all night long. 3 receivers to the far side of the formation. He goes back to throw. He's going to throw here for DiFilippo, and it's overthrown for the freshman, or I'm sorry, not the freshman, but the junior looking for his first catch, Roman DiFilippo. The freshman is Max Brown. Max Brown and Roman DiFilippo, a couple of receivers tonight. They're both looking for their first catches of the season.
And DiFilippo needed to keep running on that when he took a peek back and kind of slowed down on his route. I don't know if he was still going to get to that one or not, but he just got to run and trust his quarterback's going to get the ball to him.
Brown just came in to replace Damari Campbell, and it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Falcons from their own 36. Tomorrow morning, Nick Abraham, Saturday morning wrap-up show. It'll be Ron Jans, Rocco Nucci going through all the scores from tonight, going through the playoff scenarios for next week, and then stay tuned to WEOL.com. Follow us on social media to find out where we'll be next Friday for 3 games to open the playoffs. Tobicash will fire in the flat, incomplete. Try to get it to Fortner, didn't get it there.
He short-armed that one. He wanted to go to there's a little flood route to the outside, and then he short-armed that one. That was almost a lateral, though, too. You got to be careful of that.
Columbia trying to get to 9-1 overall, 6-1 in the LCA. And according to Mike Rice, if they win and if the Keystone Wildcats were to win, they would both end up at 6-1. But according to Mike, the bylaws are if you beat somebody head-to-head, that there's no shared championship. It would just be Columbia's.
Okay.
3rd and 10. 6:43 to go in the third. Toba Cash rolls right, wants to look back left. Under some duress, he's going to step up, fires it, and it'll be incomplete. Trying to get it to Fortner, 4th and 10. Toba Cash took a hit.
Yeah, he wanted to throw back to Fortner. Fortner again peeled back, but boy, the coverage was right on him. The corner of Saunders was right on the linebacker as soon as he cleared the line of scrimmage, so nothing doing on that one.
Logan Rose, Ambrose Beach were there on the quarterback, Toba Cash, and there was great coverage and kind of ran out of real estate when they threw it for Fortner out of bounds, but Burry back to punt.
Really got to give the secondary credit for the Raiders, too. Toba Cash, he just can't find receivers. They're not running free in the secondary.
High snap, Burry gets it, and he just gets it off. Fair catch called for and taken at the 32-yard line. And taken at fair catch for the Columbia Raiders was Jose Rivera. So Columbia gets the football. They're up 28-0, 6:27 to go in the third. And the Raiders have scored on every possession but one. And as I mentioned a little earlier, that was the final minute and 11 that they had the ball in the second quarter. So really, for all intents and purposes, they've scored every time they've had the ball time.
They've done what they wanted, and as evidence that they've only thrown one pass. This has been a technical superiority as far as running the option goes. They've really done a great job with it tonight.
From their own 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Handoff Hendon right up the gut. He's going to get 4 to the 37. Fortner and friends were there defensively. Finn Pruitt was one of them.
Hendon, the ball carrier.
Jared Kozar keeps updating that scoreboard, which is so important in Week 10. Black River has a lead. They're in Columbia's region. They're hoping to get a win and get in. So many different local teams trying to get their way into the playoffs, or if you're a team like Columbia trying to, secure a first-round bye. Tomorrow morning, that Nick Abraham Saturday morning wrap-up show. Must watch and listen to with Rocco and Ron. 2nd and 6. And they're going to hand it off up the gut. No, Sanders kept it. Quarterback will get to midfield. Took a shot. He gets a first down at midfield.
He took a shot and he gave a shot. Boy,
yeah,
that safety, his knees kind of crumbled a little bit when Sanders lowered his head on that one. So
well, again, yeah, he's a quarterback. He's also a linebacker. I think he played both positions there, right?
He forgot he was carrying the ball on that one. He just lowered the boom on that safety.
1st and 10 from midfield. But, tomorrow being an important show with all the scores and scenarios and everything, I noticed that you, I, and Jared are not part of it. they need a couple guys that know what they're doing.
I was going to say, which would raise the level of its importance.
So Rocco and Yance have tomorrow's show. From midfield, they're going to hand it off to Jose Rivera. Rivera will get stopped after a couple yards. They ran a counter. First time we've seen that play with 3 guys in the backfield, ran a counter, but the Falcons were there to, they were not fooled at all. We won't get fooled again. And it was Kane Monkey, a senior, 5'11", 212 senior defensive lineman. For these Falcons, it's looking more and more apparent, like for the seniors, Tom, this is going to be their final game. Again, they needed to win. They needed to get some help. And obviously we'll have time in the fourth quarter to talk about it if the score stays this way. But certainly that finality of this, I think it starts to hit you a little bit. 2nd and 8 from the 48. Ambrose Beach goes in motion. They're going to hand it off to Hendon. Hendon off the left side. He'll get a first down inside the 40 to about the 39. They just keep getting massive yards of real estate when they hand it off.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to stop Hendon with the off tackle all night long. And he just really – I know what they won't have tomorrow morning at the Saturday morning wrap-up.
What's that?
Coffee and donuts.
Why not?
Huh?
The Bass Brothers will have it next week.
Yeah.
Evans is in charge of that.
I'm in charge of coffee and donuts. I know they won't. I know Yance isn't stopping for coffee and donuts.
No, he's too cheap. And Rocco won't wake up in time would be my guess. So Well, I'm just calling it like I see it. I mean, you didn't argue with the Jansen's too cheap part. I don't see Rocco waking up earlier than he needs to. First and 10 from the 39. Hand off straight up the gut. They're going to get 4 to the 35. Jared brings up a good point, our on-site producer, that sometimes Jans can procure some bakery, whether it be his wife or however he finds it and gets it. Sometimes that makes its way to the studio. Second and 6 from the 35. Nice.
Yep, brownies last week. Mrs. Evans in her baking mode. She's home healing up from some surgery today. Best of all the best to my wife.
Yes, we'll finish that thought or continue with that after this play on 2nd and 6. And the turn in a handoff to Hendon. And Hendon will get a first down to the 25. And Tom, best wishes to your wife, Lisa, who earlier today had some surgery. And just want to send our best wishes to her and hope everything is okay at the Evans household.
Oh, all good. Just trying to get that hand straightened out a little bit. It's a year and a half away from a car accident. Trying to get some movement back in her left hand there. She's a worker, and she doesn't like being able to work with one hand.
Right. So hopefully Lisa will be all right. First and 10 from the 25. But you did say, if I remember right, you said right now her hand is in a fist, which probably comes in handy to be around you.
Well, yeah, but her request for the doctor was she wanted to be able to tell me I'm number one with both hands instead of just one hand.
There's the pitch to Rivera, and Rivera is stopped by Aiden Fortner on the far side after a couple yards.
Tackled by Aiden Fortner.
So, best wishes to Lisa Evans. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Columbia out in front of Firelands by a score of 28-0. Tom, the Raiders in Division 6, years ago they would get to the playoffs, and no secret, Week 11 was tough.
Yeah.
But they've kind of changed that in the last 5 years or even more. They're turning into one of those teams that, you're not surprised that they can make it to weeks 12, 13, and maybe even beyond.
Right. They got over that hump, and you're right. That was kind of hanging over them for a while. But Coach Ward got them over that, and they've certainly taken advantage of that.
Sanders keeps it. He's to the 10. He's already got 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's going to get down to the 6. First and goal.
Tackled by Evan Lowe.
Low on the stop, but the Columbia Raiders are close to making this a running clock situation.
Last year their season came to a halt with a second or third round playoff game against the eventual state champ Kirtland Hornets.
Well, and then a couple years ago, you guys went out to Clyde and they lost to, if I remember right, Columbus Grove.
Columbus, a huge.
That was like a regional final.
Yeah, that Columbus Grove, that's the biggest Division 6 team I've ever seen in my life, that Columbus Grove crew. My.
First and goal from the 6. I know they have another really good football team this year. They are playing Bluffton for their conference championship this week, and last week they defeated Lima Central Catholic, so I know Columbus Grove has another really good team this year. Pitch to the far side, getting the 5-yard line, diving forward to about the 2, and we've got a late penalty flag. Comes flying in from the back judge, as it was Sorensen who got that carry. But before you guys think I'm a total geek on high school sports, you're wondering, how in the world would I know that? Well, I did have a conversation this week with our friend Tom, and I know you remember our good friend from WIMA, 1150 in Lima, Todd Walker. And Todd talked to me this week because Kent's playing BG, and we were killing some time. And, of course, anytime Todd and I talk, before we talk about Saturdays, the first thing we talk about are Fridays.
Fridays, yeah.
And he told me he had that big Columbus Grove game tonight, and he had them last week when they defeated previously undefeated Lima Central Catholic. So before you guys think I'm totally out of my mind, well, probably too late for that.
I was going to say,
too late for
that ship sailed already.
Yeah,
so.
Right. But that information was via Todd Walker. But see, you do homework because you just never know when you're going to use it, Tom. 30 seconds to go in the third. They marked the penalty, and we get another penalty.
Yeah, that's motion. That's Hendon got an early start.
So after a real clean game for Columbia, now we get 2 back-to-back penalties on the Raiders. And maybe that will, who knows, but that could keep them out of the end zone this drive. First and goal from the 21. They restart the clock. Now, will the Raiders elect to run a play here, or will we head to the fourth quarter? Looks like maybe we'll get the play off. They're going to break the huddle with about 10 seconds, although there's not a sense of urgency here. Let's see what they do. They do run the play. They're going to turn and pitch it, and at the 20-yard line to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Rivera dives. Did he get into the end zone? He is going to be maybe just short, but he was close. And then a flag comes out.
Well, because I think he got up and got a little mouthy with the official, actually, because he thought he was in, but his foot definitely looked like it slipped out on the 2-yard line, and then he dove for the pylon.
I thought he was in, but let's see. So it's the end of the third quarter, but we had an untimed down at the end of the first, so I kind of want to see what we're going to do here. But now the teams are going off the field. Well, let's see what the call is. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Columbia. So you picked up on that, Tom, and that is going to be the end of the third quarter. We have played 3 quarters. It is Columbia 28, Firelands nothing. And we'll be back after this with the 4th and final quarter on the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Start of the fourth quarter, it is 28-0 Columbia. They added a touchdown in that third quarter to extend the 21-0 lead to 28. Ambrose Beach, first touchdown of the year on a 9-yard run with 9:17 to go in the third. And now it will be 2nd and goal from the 17. They were at the 2, but unsportsmanlike conduct on the Raiders brings it out to the 17. And Beach comes in motion. The handoff will go to Hendon. He'll get inside the 15 to about the 13. And they unpile. And one of the Firelands Falcons there was Landon Thomas. So again, thanks to Ty Stillman and everybody here with Firelands High School. Appreciate them having us. We were here a couple weeks ago for our Stream 2 game as we had Firelands at Wellington and got to come back tonight. Always one of my favorite venues in Lorain County to come to Firelands High School.
It's a great setting here
It is.
at Firelands. They really do it right.
Good people. They get great support. Senior night, I rolled in around 5 o'clock or so, and I won the first one here. There were people here at 5 o'clock. 3rd and goal from the 12. Turn and pitch it. And Hendon has it. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, and he's going to waltz into the end zone for a touchdown.
Good for a Columbia touchdown.
Too easy. A little too easy.
Hendon with his first touchdown of the night. And for Hendon, that's his 11th of the season. And with 11:05 to go in the football game, the Raiders go up 13 or 34 to
nothing.
nothing.
A flag in the end zone after the touchdown.
Okay.
So I think the jaws are starting to run out there a little bit.
Understandable. Obviously, frustration for Firelands. We'll see what this is. Oh, Coach O'Rourke wants an explanation. One of the officials coming over to give him that. Tom, as a former head coach, does that give you any satisfaction to get that unsportsmanlike conduct on Columbia? It's a touchdown. It's good. They're going to assess it on the extra point. Well, I guess that one wasn't against Firelands, so. But when you're losing and they come over to explain it to you and the call went against you, doesn't really matter.
No fun at all, right?
No,
yeah.
Right.
It's a little late for that.
Washburn to attempt the PAT to try to make it 35-0, and then we'll have a running clock. And it will stay that way unless Firelands can get it to within 30 points. Washburn's kick. The kick is up. And the kick is good. The score is 35-0, and we'll have the Next kick coming up next. Again, 35-0 Columbia. You're watching and listening to the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube High School Game of the Week.
50-50.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
10:53 to go in the football game. Raiders have scored 2 touchdowns in the second half to extend a 21-0 halftime lead to 35-0. Rob Polinsky, Tom Evans up in the booth. Jared Kozar, our on-site producer. And out there doing all the fine camera work is Dave Rydell. And Dave Rydell, a big weekend for him, Tom. It's the 40th reunion, his 40th high school reunion for Holy Name. Not only is he going to his high school reunion, he's doing double duty. He's going to DJ the high school reunion tomorrow night for Holy Name.
The Green Waivers.
So Dave Rydell will, what do you get paid for if you're DJing your own 40th?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That's a donation.
That's a donation.
I come from a Catholic background, and so do you. You know what that exactly is. Hey, Dave, do you want to do this for free for us?
They start the clock. Washburn kicks it, and the squib kick will come down and get taken by Crawford at the 30. Crawford gets to the 40. He's to the 45, to the 47-yard line. And another penalty flag comes in, and boy, we're starting to get a lot of flags here.
For a game that was really clean through 3 quarters, the flags are flying now. And that kickoff came from the 25-yard line because of the unsportsmanlike conduct on the extra point.
Now, Columbia had 2 unsportsmanlike conducts. They overcame them. They had one where they were right outside the goal line, and that took it back to the 17. Holding, how do you have defensive holding on a kickoff?
Yeah, that's.
And then you had, the unsportsmanlike conduct in the end zone, dead ball foul. So I guess my question is, I know they're up 35-0 and they're going to win the championship and all that, but how much is Mike Rice upset about that? And when do you address that tomorrow morning in film? Is that something Monday at practice time? Do you let it go? What's the coach do with
absolutely that? Talk about it in film, because while this game's not in question, they're going to get into the playoffs here, and the game's in question. You put your team in a bad situation with that. This is a close game, and then they're kicking off from the 25-yard line. You've just now given your opposing team field position inside your territory to start the drive.
And they had holding, and so now it's down to the 43. Handoff, Damari Campbell, and he'll be brought down after a couple yards. He'll get to the 40-yard line. Ambrose Beach, again, the inside linebacker there. The Raiders want to try to preserve this shutout as it's 2nd down and 7 from the 40. And we'll be under 9 minutes to go when they snap this. You see the scores coming across the bottom of your screen. Real good one with North Ridgeville and Olmsted Falls. Ridgeville up 22-21. If you miss any scores tonight, Ron and Rocco will have them tomorrow morning, 9 to 11 on the Nick Abraham Saturday Morning Sports Wrap-Up Show. And we understand that's a donut-free wrap-up show tomorrow. 2nd and 7 from the 40. Back to throw is Tobicash. He's going to flip it out here on the left side. Campbell can't come up with it. 3rd and 7.
And headed for Campbell. Incomplete.
Finn Pruitt is going to bring in the play. Finn Pruitt, one of the seniors. You look at the skilled kids for Firelands. Finn Pruitt is a senior. Aiden Fortner, the tight end, is a senior. But a lot of these kids, they're coming back. The offensive line, Clifford Stoll and Brady Smith are seniors, but it's a pretty overall kind of a young class, especially offensively. Now, in the defense, they start more seniors. But Firelands will have a lot coming back next year.
Mr. Ray Anthony, wrestling official, football official, Columbia native, tells me that he believes both unsportsmanlike are on the same athlete from Columbia.
And down the sidelines goes Finn Pruitt on a handoff, and he's going to get into the end zone. Finn Pruitt, the senior's going to get a touchdown. And even though it's going to be in a losing effort, Finn Pruitt has a lifetime memory on a 40-yard touchdown run in his final game here at Firelands, and they get on the board and trail 35-6. Good for Finn Pruitt.
Nice break to the outside by Pruitt. Kept his eyes up and got to the sideline and just beat the defenders down the field on that one.
Well, Finn Pruitt with his 4th touchdown of the year. And that'll stop the running clock. And it's now 35-6. Tom, I know for a fact that is the first time this year I've had a running clock and then had it stopped. We've had several that once it got to that point, it never didn't. So Firelands gets on the board and they give their fans something to cheer about, and they cut it to 35-7. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this. You are watching the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week. Columbia's up 35-7.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Finn Pruitt with a 40-yard touchdown run. Falcons get on the board. They trail 35-7 with 7:51 to go in the football game.
Carter Jones to kick off for the Falcons.
Carter Jones kicking off for Firelands. As Jones puts his right foot into it. And on a running start, Hendon has it at the 20, out to the 30. He's across the 40, and he'll get across the 45 to the 46. Aiden Fortner was there defensively for the Falcons, and he had help from Hayden Dotson, a sophomore.
Great field position for the Raiders to start with. I want to get a shout out to Columbia Superintendent Craig Bancek. I see Craig just announced his retirement next year. One of our #1 listeners out there. He's always tuned in and real supportive of what we do, and Craig's done a great job over at Columbia.
Too young to retire. Saw that. I disagreed. He's not allowed to retire. He's too young.
Says you.
I did. Right. You, on the other hand, that's okay. That makes sense.
I can't figure it out, though.
1st and 10 for the 46. On the run is Sanders. Sanders with a 1st down, gets down to the 40, to the 35. He's down the sidelines. He's going to run out of bounds at about the 20. Tell you what, Wesley Sanders, you know, I like how he runs the triple option, Tom. Kind of hard for me to believe. As good as they looked tonight, he was not the opening night quarterback. Didn't get to quarterback until like week 4 or 5 when Mengi got hurt. But the way he hands it off and the way he can read and take it and run when he needs to, really does a nice job.
And here's how good that fake was. One of the Falcons was right there and didn't tackle him because I think he thought the ball was handed off.
The line of scrimmage is the Firelands 23, stops the clock with 7:34 to go. And Sanders in that offense back to the line of scrimmage. The offensive line tonight, hands down, they've done a great job. Molnar, Lamb, Hanna, Andrews, and Andrews out there. And the turn and the handoff on the scissors. Jose Rivera, there he goes.
Nobody touched him.
Nobody touched him. He's into the end zone, 23 yards out. And just like that, the Raiders get the lead back to the running clock with 7:28 to go as Rivera will get his 2nd touchdown of the night. This one, the first one on the ground. He caught a pass for a touchdown earlier, and for Rivera, that 23-yard run is his 14th rushing touchdown of the year.
That was that wingback counter coming right back through, and boy, they had the whole Firelands defense fooled on that one.
To attempt the extra point.
The other thing is, I don't care who's running it for Columbia. Tom, they get the ball, they get to the hole in a hurry. They don't guess or dance around. I mean, they're hitting that hole and going forward. Washburn with the extra point. It is up, it is good, and it's now 42-7 as we go under 7 minutes to go and should take a timeout here. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll continue with more after this. It's all Raiders on the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
6:53 to go in the football game. Columbia 42, Firelands 7. Columbia is going to win the LC8 championship. They're going to go to 9-1 overall, 6-1 in the LC8. Firelands will drop to 4-6 overall, 4-3 in the LC8, and their 2025 season will come to an end here tonight. As once again this year, the OHSAA went from 16 schools back down to 12, making the playoffs, and next week it'll be teams 5 through 8 playing host to schools 9 through 12. If you are seeded 1, 2, 3, or 4, you get next Friday night off. You get to go trick-or-treating, and then 2 weeks from tonight, those top 4 seeds will take on the winners of next week's games. It will be interesting to see how this change goes. Washburn with the PAT, or with the kickoff, I should say. Comes down to Crawford, grabs it at the 10. Crawford to the 25, and he'll be hit there and hit hard, as Tom told you, and guess who? Ambrose Beach.
Tackled by Beach.
And he'll bring him down there.
And Columbia with a lot of starters on that kickoff team.
Well,
maybe why that coverage is so good.
Well, but also, it's just not a big roster.
Right.
You look over there, Tom, I don't know if they have 30 kids dressed.
Yeah, and I did smaller than in years past. I thought their numbers were up in the 40s the last couple of years, and they look a little thinner this year.
Keystone out in front of Clearview, 19-13.
They're certainly not lacking any quality.
No, but, you know, they lost their quarterback. They lost another one of their big players preseason, you know, a running back. And to survive those injuries, talking to Mike Rice before the game, they had to overcome a lot this year. And Tobacash will throw it, and it's going to be caught. He took a shot. Tobacash got it to Burry. Burry down the sidelines, and he'll be knocked out of bounds just shy of midfield.
Tobacash's pass complete to Brett Bury.
It was Alex Andrews who was there on the, or who hit the quarterback Tobacash. Yeah, but looking at their roster, there's not a ton of kids on this team. They list 34, but there's not 34 dressed here that are healthy tonight. 1st and 10 from the 47, and that'll be important for Columbia if they can get that bye time. Maybe they can heal up a little bit.
And a dozen of those 34 are freshmen.
Yeah, good point. They're going to flip it out here to Fortner, the senior on senior night. He wants to make a play. He's inside the 40, down to the Columbia 38-yard line as we're inside 5 minutes to go in this game. Aiden Fortner, and a late penalty flag comes. Tell you what, if I'm Coach Rice,
yeah,
this is another one on Columbia, you got to start taking kids out of the game, right?
At some point in time, I'm going to call timeout, and I'm going to start chewing a little bit of tail, because this is Let's
see what this call is. It is unsportsmanlike again on Columbia, their third.
Well, you want to be careful, too. You get thrown out now, you're going to sit out next week.
The officials know that as well. Now, let me ask you a dumb question since you brought it up. You said if you get thrown out tonight, you sit out next week. Well, what if it's a team that has a bye? Would you sit out your next game?
It's your next game.
Yeah,
it's your next game, yeah.
If you got that, you could miss. And Ambrose Beach is coming out, and I think Mike Rice is taking that timeout like you suggested he might.
Timeout, Columbia.
So they take a timeout, 3:59 to go. Let's just keep it here with a 42-7 lead for the Raiders, Tom. And
the custodians that
Columbia is going to win the LC8.
That includes Key,
as you see the scores coming across the bottom of the scoreboard there. But it'll be interesting. The
director Ty Stillman. And last but not
Vermilion
least,
Sailors losing to Bellevue.
Falcons, Braden Kennard.
As they had a heartbreaking loss last week that I saw with Edison.
They've had they lost a 5 overtime one. They've had a couple heartbreaking losses this year.
They lost to Norwalk on a kickoff return. Yeah, they've had a tough season, but still the Sailors still could get into the playoffs even with a loss. Or maybe the game of the night might be that North Ridgeville-Olmsted Falls game. And Olmsted Falls now has a 27-22 lead over the Rangers. As those teams are 4 and 5 in the playoffs, they might just switch spots. You know, if Falls wins, they might jump them and get the bye, and maybe Ridgeville has to host a game next week. We'll see. 1st and 10 from the 24. And the handoff, and again, it's Damari Campbell inside the 10. He's down to about the 8-yard line, and Wesley Sanders makes the stop, 1st and goal. Finn Pruitt going to come in.
And Columbia was still with a lot of starters on the field still for the Raiders. So Firelands isn't doing this against the twos.
Tom, I don't know if they have enough guys on the sideline to have.
I was going to say, based on the numbers, I don't know how many twos they have over there.
Under 3.5 minutes to play. 1st and goal from the 9. Finn Pruitt back out there. He had a 40-yard touchdown run on their last drive. And Tobacash is going to get it to Fortner. Fortner's going to try to get a touchdown, and he will! It's the seniors get touchdowns for Firelands. First it was Pruitt, then it was Fortner on a 9-yard touchdown run. And with 3:03 to go in the game, they cut it to 42-13.
They bring Fortner back in from that H-back spot with that inside handoff. They get all that motion going left, and they bring Fortner back to the right-hand side. Does a nice job of breaking free on that and getting in the end zone.
Well, that's pretty cool for the seniors, Tom, that in a losing scenario, Finn Pruitt and Aiden Fortner are always going to remember that.
Nice way to finish it off for the seniors.
Out of the hold of Caleb Crawford.
And that was a well-designed play. So the second PAT out of the hold of Caleb Crawford, and we get a penalty flag before the play, as it was Landon Becker attempting the PAT. So again, now we won't have the running clock as the Falcons have answered. Cutting the lead to 42-13. High snap, and Crawford is going to pick it up and throw towards the end zone. Got it to Pruitt. Pruitt is going to dive, and he gets in, and we get a penalty flag. That might be a face mask, but the 2-point conversion from Crawford to Pruitt.
Get the ball. 2-point conversion is good.
Crawford throws the 2-point conversion to Holder to Pruitt. And it's 42-15 with 3:03. We can take a timeout. And we'll be back with the remaining 3 minutes of this game. It's all Columbia 42-15 on the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube High School Game of the Week.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about Eco-Tree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted Eco-Tree. They did an incredible job. The folks at Eco-Tree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me, when your trees need attention or even require removal, contact Eco-Tree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find Eco-Tree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
3:03 to go in the football game, 42-15. They'll have a face mask penalty against Columbia. That means the Falcons will kick it off here from the 45. Or no, this isn't the face mask. This is the offsides on the extra point, so they'll get 5 yards. And kicking will be Carter Jones, a senior. And Jones will kick it deep, and it will be taken by Hendon inside his 15. Hendon to the 25. Hendon sidesteps to the 30, to the 35, still on his feet. He's brought down just shy of the 40-yard line. So Columbia should be their final drive of the game, final possession of the game.
Tackled by Max Brown.
And they will either play a game at home next Friday or they will have a week off. Officially, the state will come out with that Sunday. Pretty much we'll know Saturday what most games are with our teams, but you never know. Sometimes there are Saturday games across the state that can impact standings and maybe not necessarily
We would also like to
a
give
Lorain
one
County
final
team,
thank
but it
you
can
to our
also,
trainer Joe, who keep your
affect
Falcons healthy and in the game.
A secondary
opponent.
point,
Well,
yeah.
an opponent you might
Right.
have that could move up or down and change your opponent.
Career football
An
game.
example of that would be the McKinley-Massillon game tomorrow. And because Massillon's not in a region where we have a local team, but McKinley, D1 Region 1, if they get a win, that could make some movement there. So we should have teams in D1 Region 1. It could be, Brunswick, Strongsville, Berea Mid-Park, teams like that could be affected. So you have a pretty good idea, but it's never official until it is.
And I think I saw McKinley sitting at a 4 spot maybe in that region.
I know they're up high. They had a bye. 1st and 10 for the 39. And they're going to turn and hand it. And we'll get about a 1-yard run here. And to think about it, McKinley drops Avon, right? And you're talking about a D1 program that is going to get a bye. And getting his first carry of the night, Patrick Sorensen. 5'9", 165, and a sophomore running back.
They had some clean jerseys on the field there for the Raiders now.
Sorensen on the year, 11 carries, 49 yards on the year. So the sophomore gets a rare attempt. And we've got a new quarterback for Columbia as well, and that is going to be Anthony Pazzulli. Pazzulli is a freshman. Pazzulli turns and pitches it. Another new running back getting the ball, and on the carry, it is Louis Misner. And Misner will be brought down. Hayden Tobakash brings him down for the Firelands Falcons. As we wind down, under 2 minutes to go, it'll be 3rd and 10. So senior night, and the Firelands will end the football season, and they'll look forward to basketball and wrestling, as that'll be right around the corner.
Gyms were warming up last week. It's an open gym. Lots of basketball programs got it going already. Girls basketball, I think, started this week, their practices.
3rd and 10 from the 39. Turn, they're going to pitch it to another new running back. We've got a penalty flag going back to get it and being brought down at the 40-yard line. First off, on the stop, it is going to be Matthew Bednar. And on the carry for the Columbia Raiders was Dominic Demagal. Demagal, 5'10", 130-pound senior, gets a rushing attempt. And for Dominic Demagal, that's his first rushing attempt of the season, Tom.
And he got a lucky bounce on that one. He went off his hand and was able to pick that back up and carry it. 4th and 9. They're trying to get a punt team together over there and make sure they get the right call.
Well, there's under 30 seconds to go. I don't think they're just going to let it wind all the way down. And what's that, Jared? Yeah, still have to run a play, but they're letting it wind down as much as they can. And the Raiders take a timeout. So we'll keep it here with 18 seconds. What we'll tell you is once this is over, we'll take a timeout. We'll recap the scoring. We'll get some of Tom's thoughts. And we will call it a night, but we'll keep it here for now as Columbia's got to punt the ball. And then the Falcons will have a play or two, and that'll put a bow on this 2025 regular season. Tom, any just kind of thoughts, surprises, or just thoughts on the 2025 campaign, Columbia winning this LCA championship?
Well, it was the usual suspects in the LCA, Columbia and Keystone. It came down to that. You know, it a little closer than maybe in years past and maybe not as decisive, but certainly the big surprise for me was Black River throwing the football this year. I teased Coach last week that they had 300 yards of passing. I said that was a season's worth for Al Young. I said,
right. But how about Clearview after an 0-4 start defeating Columbia? And the Raiders are going to kick it and try to kick it out of bounds. And they do kick it out of bounds. with 12 seconds to go, and that will be Firelands that'll get the ball.
And,
so,
Cody Kay had taken over later over Clearview. You wondered how that was going to shake itself out, but the Clippers got better and better as the season went on. We talked to Cody last Saturday morning, and I think he's excited about where that Clearview program can go. So a lot of positive things. Oberlin getting some wins this year. They get 2 on the board.
They might get a third tonight. I mean, they're in a real close game with Brookside. No, not anymore. Oberlin's playing Black River. That would help if I had the right teams. Brookside was playing Wellington in a close game where.
But anybody we talked to talked about how improved that Oberlin group was. So that good really boded well for the LCA. And the Southwest, it was Avon and everybody else. We're just trying to figure out who those second-tier teams were going to be.
12 seconds to go in this one from the 41-yard line. And they're going to turn and hand it off. And Pruitt will get one more run. He's at the 30, down to the 25-yard line.
Pruitt, the ball carrier.
With 5 seconds. Tobicash trying to hurry him to the line of scrimmage, but they're not going to get another playoff. So that will do it. You mentioned Avon. To me, take Avon out of it, take Elyria out of it. Those other 6 teams, it was always real interesting every single
right,
week.
You didn't know. And Amherst showed some flashes this year. We thought Midview looked really good running the football early on this year. And Olmsted Falls is Olmsted Falls. They're going to come and they're going to hit you and they're going to run the option. And a lot of good football in the SWC this year.
So you see both teams meeting at midfield to shake hands. The coaches are going to do the same thing. The Columbia Raiders go to 9-1 overall. They're the LC8 champs, 6-1. Firelands will end the campaign at 4-6, 4-3 in league play as the Raiders win it 42-15. We'll be back with the post-game show right after this timeout. You're watching the WEOL Chronicle Telegram YouTube High School Game of the Week.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secured dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about Eco-Tree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted Eco-Tree. They did an incredible job. The folks at Eco-Tree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me, when your trees need attention or even require removal, contact Eco-Tree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find Eco-Tree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
There you get a look at it. The scoreboard tells the story tonight from Firelands as the Columbia Raiders defeat Firelands 42-15. Robin Tom in the booth alongside our producer, Jared Kozar, and Dave Rydell did all the camera work tonight, did a great job. Columbia goes to 9-1. They win the LC8. They defeat Firelands 42-15. The Falcons dropped to 4-6 overall, 4-3 in league play. Recap the scoring. Columbia led after 1, 7-0, 21-0 and a half, 28-0 after 3, and they win it 42-15. They scored the first 3 times they had the ball. 6:08 to go in the first quarter. Sanders on a 7-yard run, 7-0 Columbia. Sanders to Rivera, 21-yard pass, 11:03 to go in the half, 14-0 Columbia. Sanders, 15-yard run, 6:46 to go in the half, 21-0 Columbia. 9:17 to go in the third quarter. Beach on a 4-yard run, his first touchdown of the season, 28-0 Raiders. And then Hendon with 11:05 to go in the fourth quarter, 13-yard run, made it 35-0, and we had a running clock. But Finn Pruitt got a touchdown on senior night, went 40 yards, ended the shutout. It was 7:51 to go in the game. It was 35-7 as the Falcons got on the board. Jose Rivera, 23-yard run, 7:25 to go, just 26 seconds later, 42-7 Columbia. And then the final score of the night with 3:03 to go, Aiden Fortner, a senior tight end for Firelands, gets a 9-yard run, and then the 2-point conversion, Crawford to Pruitt, ended the scoring at 42-15. Tom, Columbia dominated this game early, and it just continued. And your final thoughts?
Well, the Raiders wanted to set the tone heading into the playoffs next week. They certainly did. Nice for some of the Firelands seniors to be able to finish off with some touchdowns tonight, but the Raiders hitting on all 8 cylinders as they head into next week. We'll see what shakes out for them tomorrow morning, whether or not they'll end up with a bye in that first round or pick a first-round game up, depending on what happened all around them. But, certainly a good bounce-back game for the Raiders after their defeat by the Clippers last week, and a lot of things in front of the Raiders still yet this season.
Were you more impressed with them on offense or defense tonight?
Probably offense.
Okay.
Just with the number of injuries they had, really, I love the way the Sanders runs this offense, and it makes you think long and hard about what you do when Mengi comes back. But even Hendon at the A back, and boy, they bring about 4 different B and C backs at you from that wing spot and give you a lot of different looks. So I'm really, really impressed. At some point in time in the playoffs, I think they're going to have to throw the football. And, we saw 1 pass for a touchdown on them tonight, so I don't know what they can do with that. I don't know what kind of athletes they have out of there, because I know they did some shuffling when they brought Sanders in the quarterback. So that's yet to be seen.
All right, well, that's just going to about wrap it up. Again, the regular season comes to a close. Thanks to Rocco Nucci, Jared Kozar, everybody with the Chronicle Telegram and WEOL.com, this new venture going out and doing this, and Bill Hudnut, the publisher of the Chronicle Telegram, for taking this on. Thanks to all the guys, Dave Rydell, camera work, everybody that's done all that stuff this year. It was a new venture, and it was a lot of fun to be part of. We want to thank our sponsors as well, as the WEOL Gridiron Clash, the streaming YouTube game, was brought to you all season by Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, EcoTree Services, Cobos Insurance Center, Lorraine County Community College, and Stewart's TV and Appliance. Want to remind you, tomorrow morning, Nick Abraham, Saturday morning sports wrap-up, 9 to 11, on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page on WEOL.com. Rocco Nucci, Ron Jans, they'll interview winning coaches from tonight. They'll let you know what they know as far as the playoff scenario. And then again, next week, just stay tuned. You can get the Chronicle Telegram. You can follow on WEOL.com, and they'll have the playoff schedule. That what we do know is we'll have 3 games next Friday. Who, where, and all that. There'll be 3 games next Friday at 7 o'clock. That's what we know. So until then, for Tom Evans and Jared Kozar and Dave Rydell, this is Rob Polinsky. One more time, your final score. The Columbia Raiders, champs of the LC8, 42, and the Firelands Falcons, 15. Have a good night, everybody.